What's going on, everybody? Fuo here, back for a brand new episode of Umineko When They Cry. Last time on, we saw that the majority of the family, or a large part of it, who were at the dining room, were still trapped within the dungeon and trying to figure out a way to get out without, the suspects trying to, uncover them, aka Kinzo. While Shannon and Ken had a very interesting conversation, which implies, which I think outright states, that both Shannon and Cannon have knowledge of the previous times this has happened, the previous murders, the previous games. And in fact, Shannon remembers the Golden Land as well. But Cannon doesn't remember that, which is very interesting. Why does Shannon only remember that and not Cannon? Maybe it's because of their point of perspective, since Shannon's view is more hopeful and that she believes in the Golden Land maybe a bit more than Cannon, since Cannon probably just sees it as something that's probably made up by Beatrice, something like that, since he's more of a realist while Shannon's more of a dreamer. Someone commented of like, what do I make of that conversation? And what I make of that conversation is that what Shannon's referring to is the Golden Land we saw at the end of episode 3. I think she's referring to that. I think that's what she's remembering. For some reason, Cannon doesn't remember it, but Shannon does, for some reason. And that, the way she described it kind of matches with what we saw at the end of episode 3. But, even at the beginning of their conversation, Shannon mentions that, like, it could have just been a joke by Beatrice, Sama, which turned out it was at the end of episode 3, as we saw. But it was a very interesting conversation, and someone brought up in the comments, why can only Shannon and Cannon, and I'm just going to guess this, probably Genji, remember the previous games? And also, it's implied that Kinzo remembers the previous games as well, which would make sense, since he's the one that started this entire summoning ceremony as well. Why them specifically? And I have a thought about that, but I'll get to that in a minute. I want to finish recapping. But we flash as Kinzo and his, demon harem, make fun of the people in the dungeon. We flash forward to 1998 with Angie, in which she is talking to the close family of the victims, such as Nanjo and Kumasawa. And what we find out is that they were actually given a letter from most likely Beatrice herself, or at least the handwriting within the letter was very close to the, handwriting within Maria's diary, which she supposedly says comes from Beatrice. It's very much the exact same handwriting, which is very interesting, which leads them to a vault, a bank account, in which there's 100 million yen for nearly all the close family members of the families involved, including Angie herself as well, but she obviously never got to use it. Probably Ava took that money instead, perhaps, since she did write it down from it. And the PIN number is actually the same PIN number that was found in the door to the parlor in episode 3 after George was killed, that Ava, Nanjo, Battler, and Jessica found on the door, in which they theorized that the first half of the number was actually Battler's birthday, but they didn't know the second half of the number, which I'm very curious about that. I wonder if that is a red herring of, like, maybe they're just, patterns coming up, maybe they equate that to Battler's birthday, or does the second half of that number actually mean something? The second half of that PIN number, it turns out. But as we talk to the rest of them, and we eventually get to the boat captain who actually gave passage to Okajima on that day, and he wants to bring Angie to that island since he wants to finish his job, which honestly is so cool. I really like this. I really like just the kind of the victims of this, the close family victims of we see in 1988. I think it's a very cool character study, or a very cool just narrative thing. of seeing these gross people, related to the victims, and just the, even the boat captain that drove to Wokenjima, how much burden he's had on his shoulders for like the past 12 years because he was never able to finish his job of taking the people back from Wokenjima, and he wants to finish his job by taking Angie there. But as they're leaving, Angie notices something big, something in the display case within a betting shop of this boat captain. And we don't know what it is. We have no idea what the hell it could be. So right now, Goda and Kumasawa are being brought to the garden shed in order for Kinzo's test for his grandchildren to be started. But before we get into the episode proper, I've come up with a theory that ties back to a lot of what I said. So, what makes a furniture? Shannon, Kanon, and Genji, those three are considered furniture. They're not servants like Kumasawa and Goda, but they're furniture. As I've theorized before, the reason why I theorize that Shannon and Kanon are considered as furniture is because they come from Fukun House, which is funded by Kinzo, who probably brainwashed them in order to become servants for him. I wouldn't put it out of his, kooky mind at all. And, Genji as well, what makes him a, furniture? And someone asked in the comments, whoa, in a non-magical sense, what makes them furniture? For Shannon and Kanon, I believe they were brainwashed from, because they were orphans at Fukun House. Kinzo probably brainwashed them. But for Genji, I feel like he was saved by Kinzo in the past, since Genji's obviously his closest, servant, the head butler, obviously. Kinzo saved him in some way in the past. Maybe saved his wife, maybe helped out his family, maybe something like that. And then Genji reduced himself to become furniture for Kinzo. I think what makes someone furniture, truly furniture, in a non-magical sense, is if they view themselves as furniture. We see that Shannon, Kanon, and Genji view themselves as furniture. Shannon and Kanon many, many times, since they are unable to, love Jessica or George. Genji, so he could help out his master, Kinzo. I think it's all about perspective, as it's been talked about many times before in previous episodes. In this episode, it's all about perspective on this. What is truth? Well, if you view yourself as furniture, you become furniture. You become less than human. Which ties back in to the whole there are only 18 humans on the island argument by Ava Beatrice. Which is the whole thing why I've made this theory in the first place. Of getting around that simple fucking argument of who killed Najo, and hell, who even killed George, because we don't know who killed George. It probably wasn't Ava, since Ava loves her family. That's why she wanted the inheritance in the first place. So there must have been more people on the island that we don't know about. And God, I've been thinking about this for a good 20 minutes before I started recording. This whole big theory, really. Because once you get into the Umineko headspace, you can't stop thinking, huh? So did that. Yes, so they're considered as furniture because they themselves view themselves as furniture, which could mean that there's 3 other people on this island that we don't know about. And I want to tie this back into the pin number. Why was the pin number written in blood on the parlor door? And someone commented down below that it could be as an insult to Ava, a message to her that wife has a monetary value, in which she obviously didn't want that since, George was murdered within the parlor. Basically her child, her major force in wanting to get the inheritance in the first place in order to affect his future. It could be a threat or basically an insult to it as well. But I think the person who wrote, the reason why that pin number was wrote on blood on that doorway is so that the free people, I'm just going to say this, here's my theory. The free people on this island that we don't know about are assassins, hitmen, mercenaries, whatever you want to call them. They're hitmen. And the reason why that number was written there wasn't an insult to Ava. It was so that the hitmen or mercenaries could get their payment of 100 million yen. So that's why it was written in blood on the island in the first place, since obviously no one else would know what that pin number means except for the people that did their job and want to get their payment. And obviously this is a double-sided coin as well. It also served a dual purpose as monetary donations to the Crows family. Someone commented down below that it is actually customary in Japan to give donations, monetary donations, to families in mourning after a loved one passes away, which actually really helps out a lot with this. As obviously, whoever was the one who did all this wanted to compensate the family of what they took away from them. So I think the person who did all this, the person who set up the accounts, set up the PIN numbers, who sent the letters, I'm not going to say who wrote the letters, because that's a bit iffy with the whole Beatrice, same handwriting as well. Don't know about that. But who set all this up, the one person who had the money for it, could have all the resources he could do it, is Kenzo. It's obviously Kenzo. Since the letters were sent before the family conference, where I know Kenzo was planning to do this anyway, since he was going to die eventually, so he had to do it sooner rather than later. And he feels a kind of sympathy for the family's, close family of his sacrifices, pretty much. Why he compensates them is because, well, he wants to reunite with his beloved Beatrice. So why, give some compensation to the Crows family of the victims of the sacrifices for him. And you could make an argument. Actually, because of this, I feel like we can knock off a bunch of people who couldn't have done this because of that whole compensation, 100 million yen compensation for the families. Obviously, it can't be any of the siblings because they're all in financial trouble, obviously. You could make an argument that Kraus could have stolen money from Kinzo's bank accounts and set up this whole thing beforehand, but that is truly possible. But I feel like Kraus is the type of man who won't go so far as to kill his family for the money. Because obviously he was the next in line for the inheritance, because oldest sibling and all that. So why would he do that? And two, just from his actions, from his words, it all tells us that Kraus doesn't hate his family. I feel like he does love his family. Truly. It's all because of this inheritance shit that, they're a bit more nasty than usual, obviously. And, you could say, well, what about the scenes with Ava? Well, that's because he was a bit younger and wanted approval from Kinzo, obviously. But I don't think Kraus would be the type of man to kill his family in order to get the inheritance. I don't think it is, so I don't think he's the one to set it up. But yeah, I feel like the one to set it all up is Kinzo, in order to compensate the close families. Is there anything else I'm trying to think of? That I got the free furniture things about Genji, Shannon, and Cannon. About how they view themselves as furniture and, lesser than human, It all depends really on that. Plus, if we want to look at it from a magical sense, would it make sense, if they are truly furniture? Of course they remember, because Lona remembers. The Seven Sisters remember the previous games as well. So if we're going at it from a magical perspective, it makes all the sense in the world for those three to remember, since they are the creations of Kinzo, or aka Goldsmith, I guess. God, am I forgetting anything else? No, I don't think so. I really hope I've made my theory clear. That's what I try to aim for in these episodes, at least. Basically, just Kinzo set it all up. The pin is for the assassins, the three assassins on this island, and the reason why there can be 3 other people when there can only be, when it's been stated before there's 18 humans, is because Genji, Kanon, and Shannon aren't considered as humans because they view themselves as lesser, as furniture. So yeah, enough talking. Let's actually get into the video. Oh God. I hope you guys really enjoy me. Enjoyed my theorizing. I think you guys do, because what else am I supposed to do with this visual novel? Oh, one other thing I want to mention before we continue on. Yesterday, at Anime Expo, Ryukushio 7 actually had a Q&A, which was kind of cool. Unfortunately, there's no videos of it up yet, which kind of sucks. But I would love to see if there's ever videos about the Q&A from him, because I'm very curious about him as an author, obviously, because his writing's fucking amazing. But yeah, let's just get right into it. Obviously, Goda and Kumasawa were quite unwilling to be locked in the Rose Garden shed, but they were frightened that if they resisted, the hostage's safety could not be guaranteed. Also, it was also announced that his other visual novel would be coming to the West as well, which is very cool. And also put into perspective that from the time I started Higurashi up until now, over 2 other projects by Ryukushio 7 have been announced. Silent Hill F and, Bloodstained Dogs, or Bullet Stray Dogs is what? Woes Stray Bullets? I can't remember the title right now. But it's very funny that I've been going through this journey so long that over 2 other projects of his have been announced. I find that very funny. God, this is old. But anyway, they were frightened that if they resisted, the hostage's safety could not be guaranteed. It was fairly hard to get them to agree. But once they started thinking that their safety might actually be guaranteed if the key to the gardening storehouse was to be handed to them after being shut inside, and when it was decided that blankets and food would be carried in for them, they were finally convinced. Oh, one last thing. I'm sorry, guys. One last thing. Someone mentioned in the comments that Kumasawa's son, his name actually means Mackerel Fortune, and the kanji on his shirt or whatever actually meant mackerel, which is pretty funny. I really like that. I really like that. A very one-note character that we probably won't see before, or maybe we will see again. Just having all sorts of mackerel puns is very, very awesome.
私たちはいつまでここに閉じ込められていればいいのでしょうか。
下手をすると月曜の朝まで丸々一昼夜はいてもらうことになるかもしれない。本当にお二人には申し訳なく思うよ。
George and Badward cleared a space on the floor, then spread blankets there. They also left the canned food, crackers, and other white snacks they had brought.
月曜の朝までを二人でこの量じゃ辛いな。せめて厨房に言われたなら。
余計な場所には行くなと言われてる。私たちは監視されてるらしいしな。
くそ。何もお力になれないことを申し訳なく思います。こんな時に皆さんのおそばにいてこその私どもなのに。
仕方ないです。それより熊沢さんをよろしく頼みますね。何が起こるかわからない。いざという時は臨機応変に助けてほしい。そして何よりも 無事でいてほしい。
ええ、分かっています。皆さんこそ気をつけてくださいね。今の親方様はまるで人の命をチェスの駒のように奪います。気をつけてください。
Chessboard, you say? Goda stared at the floor, even now unable to believe what had happened as he remembered that atrocity in the dining hall. And he hung his head in shame at his failure to fully describe that terror.
ありがとう。くれぐれも注意してくださいね。熊沢さんも。
ジョージさんたちもくれぐれもご用心なさってくださいね。もう私には何が何やらさっぱりわかりませんとも。
それじゃあ僕たちは行きます。行こう、バトラ君、ジェシカちゃん、ほらマリアちゃんも。
So what type of test is Kinzo going to give the grandchildren? Looking at the pitiful expressions on the imprisoned players' faces, it got really hard to close the shutter. But we can't disobey. We're being watched. The shutter was brought down and locked. Then George walked towards a small window in the side of the storehouse. At that side there was a small latticed window that could only emit light and ventilation. It looked like something from a jail, making the two of them seem even more pitiable. But on the other hand, it would hopefully protect them from Kinzo and his subordinates. He opened the window and called out.
大丈夫ですか？寒くないですか？
ええ、毛布をこんなにいただきましたからね。くるまっていればきっと平気ですよ。
石油ストーブとか持ってくればよかったな。
ここじゃ換気できないからね。辛いだろうけど今は仕方がない。僕たちは人質を取られている。逆らえない。
畜生。なんとかキリエさんたちを救出することができれば。
聞かれてるかもしれないよ。ゴーダさん、これそのシャッターの鍵です。
George threw the key in through the tiny window.
確かにお預かりします。
Yoda took the key, showed it to Kumasawa, and placed it in his own pocket. There's only one key to the garden shed's shutter. That key was being held by the ones locked up inside it. If the children had kept it and stolen it from them by some chance, that would do nothing but expose their lives or those in the shed to danger. And even with the key, the shutter could not be opened from the inside. Kinzo's demands were fulfilled this way. However, there was no longer any way to open the shed from the outside either. This protected them. Kinzo had ordered that they be confined, and we could do nothing but trust that this cold, closed room would protect them. Jessica watched this while holding Maria's hand, then looked over the thickets in the pitch-black rose garden. Somewhere in this darkness, somebody was hiding, watching to see whether we obeyed orders or not. Of course, when we pointed our flashlights out there, no suspicious silhouettes appeared. But somebody was surely out there, hiding and watching. I was hit many times with an urge to scream at them, but I was able to hold that urge back through reason. The four children left the area, repeatedly looking back over their shoulders. The light from the faint light bulb in the garden storehouse was seeping out slightly. I wonder if this insane incident will come to an end somehow, so that we can meet those two again. To George, who had closed the shutter himself, the resistance of the lock had made it feel as though he'd killed them with his own hands.
それでも俺たちは逆らえないんだよな。
テストだと。クソじじいめ、ふざけやがって。それで母さんたちが殺されて父さんたちが捕まって理解できねえぜ。ぶっ殺してやる。
大丈夫だよ、ジェシカお姉ちゃん。悲しくなんかないよ。
マリア。
もうすぐ魔女は蘇る。すぐに黄金鏡で会えるよ。あいつ
不謹慎なことで笑うんじゃねえぜ。何が魔女復活の儀式だ。妄想はじいさまの頭の中だけにしときゃいいものを大勢巻き込みやがって。こいつは高くつくぜ。
ゲストハウスに戻ろう。おじいさまから電話があった際に不在だったらまずい。
Urged on by George, everyone began walking towards the guest house. At that moment, Jessica turned in a circle, facing towards the darkness of the rose garden, and roared.
おい、誰か見てんだろ。ジジイに伝えとけ。絶対にぶち殺してやるってな。行こう。
Of course, there was no reply, only the howl of the wind and rain. The children returned to the guest house, while fearing that what was waiting for them up ahead. After they left, from the exact point in the darkness that Jessica had yelled at, 2 rabbit ears sprung up.
ごめんなさい。バレてました。45がすっとろいからバレたに。竜王様に怒られる。ごめんなさい。竜王様に言いつけるのは許してください。
黙れ静かに。どうせハッタリだ。ゴーダと熊沢の監禁は確認した。任務完了。報告に戻るぞ。
イエーイイエーイ。泣いた。
連帯責任で人参と水だけの刑になりたいか。行くぞ。
God, it's like moments like that I remember what I'm playing. Isn't that something? There are just some moments that are like, yeah, this is a murder mystery grounded type of thing, and okay, there's fucking moon rabbits. All right, yeah, this is Umineko. That's right. That's what I'm playing. The fact that they were being watched always seemed to be true. Because when they returned to the cousin's room, turned the lights on, and lay down on their beds, the phone rang again. Earlier, Jessica had been answering the phone, seeing as this was her house, but now it was the eldest, George, who picked it up. This time, Kyrie-san was on the other end of the line. George handed it to Bradwell out of consideration.
もしもし、キリエさんか。そっちは大丈夫なのか。
心配をありがとう。今のところは快適よ。ごめんなさい。死後は慎めと命令されてる。今から伝えることをよく聞いて。
The fact that they were still hostages still hadn't changed. Gensor, one of the subordinates, was listening to the conversation. Bradwell restrained the urge to talk about other things and focus on what Kyrie had to say.
テストはジェシカちゃん、ジョージ君、バトラ君、そしてマリアちゃんの順で行われるそうよ。
In that order, huh?
順番に呼び出すから、それまでその部屋を出ないこと。
Why that order specifically? It's not oldest to youngest, since first would be George. Jessica, George, Bradwell, then Maria. Oh, it's going by family. It's going by the eldest sibling, since Klaus is the eldest. Then Ava, then Rudolph, then Rosa. Okay.
呼び出された者は一人で指定された場所に向かうこと。
Bradwell repeated it out loud so that the cousins listening in around him could hear.
ジェシカ、兄貴、俺、マリアの順で呼び出しがあるまで部屋にいろ。だな。わかったな。 マリアもなのかや。9歳の子にまでクソジジイは何を強いる気なんだ。畜生。
Something horrible, probably.
後ろ宮家の命運はあなたたちに握られてるわ。頑張って。
Bador noticed a strange nuance in Curie's words. Even without any blood connection, he could still understand thanks to the long-lasting bond they shared. At this point, it doesn't make sense to worry about the Ursula Mira family itself. That probably wasn't the message Curie wanted to send. She probably meant there's no way for us to escape from this dungeon and we can only wait to be rescued. Our lives are in your hands. Something like that.
ああ、任せてくれ。どんなテストか知らねえが上等だぜ。受けて立ってやら。本気のテストなんだよな。マジにやっちまっていいんだよな。
ええ、本気のテストよ。おじい様も本気で試すつもりでいるわ。
Alright, what's 2 plus 2? 4. Okay, you get the inheritance.
ダメだな。全然ダメだぜ。死にかけの老いぼれが俺と本気？寝言は棺に入ってから言いやがれ。そこにいるジジイに言っとけ。次期当主は俺だ。その最初の仕事はてめえの面に鉄拳ぶち込んでやることだってな。
Hell yeah. Even without Curie having to repeat it, Bador's powerful declaration of war reached Kinzo's ears. And obviously he's loving it.
バトラ、それは実に楽しみであるぞ。一度は後ろ宮の名を捨てた男が何を身につけ、何の境地に至って我が前に現れるというのか楽しみにしている。そう伝えよ。
Unfortunately, Kenzo's voice was not picked up by the receiver. Therefore, Curie spoke for him.
大いに上等だそうよ。いい？バトラ君。手加減は不要よ。あなたはルドルフさんの息子。いいえ、私の息子よ。
Aww.
誰に自慢しても恥ずかしくないところを私にも見せてちょうだい。
That's big coming from Curie.
あなたに全てを託すわ。
Since she still had some resentment towards Ludolf's other wife, and therefore a bit of resentment towards Bador, but those words mean a lot.
了解だぜ、母ちゃん。あとは任せておけ。
私たち全員は当主跡継ぎの資格を失っている。もう私たちは取られてゲーム版から外された駒も同然よ。だからあなたたちだけで戦って。
キリエさん。
The nuance of those words was, we've already given up, so forget about us. But for that very reason, I won't give up. I'll definitely crush this test or whatever and save everyone.
それでは一番最初のジェシカちゃんへのテストの指示よ。自分の部屋へ行けですって。
自分の部屋？
お屋敷のジェシカちゃんの自室って意味のよね。
ジェシカに代わる。直接伝えてやってくれ。ジェシカ。
もしもし。はい。わかりました。
What are you planning?
私からか。もう覚悟決めたぜ。行ってくるぜ。
Even Jessica was probably tempted to succumb to the fear of a girl her age, but she crushed those feelings and shrank them to resolved.
用心して。
私たちは監視されてんだろ。余計なこともできない。言いなりになるしかないさ。
食堂でジジイは何のためらいもなく瞬く間に6人を殺したという。 それは俺たちに対しても同じかもな。
分かってる。返り討ちにしてやるぜ。
無茶はダメだよ。危険だと思ったら自分を最優先にして。クラウスおじさんが自分のために娘が犠牲になったことを知ったら胸が張り裂けてしまうに違いないから。
逆も同じだぜ。父さんと母さんが殺されて私だけが生き残ったら私の胸だって張り裂けるぜ。
バトラ君、さっきの話は本当だよね。
ああ、キリエさんたちはもう覚悟を決めている。
ならなおのこと上等だぜ。みんなの命は私たちの双剣にかかってるってことだ。人質みんなは囚われの身で何もできない。なら私たちが何とかするしかねえんだぜ。
もし何かあったらゲストハウスに逃げ戻って。その時点で僕たちがおじい様のゲームに付き合うのは終了だ。
兄貴、
その時点で僕たちは宣戦布告。どこかに閉じ込められている彼らを救い出し、おじい様には叱るべき処遇を与える。
Hell yeah.
いいのか兄貴。シャノンちゃんもいるんだろ。
だからといって僕は座して婚約者が殺されるのを待ちはしないよ。
Answer. This is the music I put at the end of my videos for Umineko. This is when it comes in.
僕が恐ろしいのはおじい様にシャノンが殺されるかもしれないことに
And its track
怯える
name,
ことじゃない。
and its track name is Answer. How perfect.
僕の婚約者に恐怖を味わわせたクソじじいを君らが僕より先にぶん殴っちまうことだけさ。
Yeah.
なるほどな。確かにこいつは次期当主が誰かを決めるってテストらしいぜ。
だな。クソじじいの顔面に一番最初に拳をお見舞いしたやつが次。
George and Battle and Jessica each forcefully nodded their heads and put their fists together. Whoever beats Kinzo to death first wins! Then Jessica headed off to her own room as designated. Her form disappeared into the darkness of the rose garden, waving in the strong winds. Watching her go, George and Battle gripped their fists even tighter, making them quiver. Alright, let's see what the hell this test is. Left on the second floor, Maria watched Jessica's back through the window. She wore a blank expression.
みんなは何を息巻いてるのかな。ベアトリーチェが蘇ればみんな生き返らせてもらえるのにね。
Jessica's form was already being completely swallowed up by the darkness. At that time, the phone began to ring again. Battle and George heard it and came clambering back, but Maria picked up the receiver right away.
もしもし。
マリア様ですか。シャノンです。ジョージ様に代わっていただけますか。
This time it was Shannon on the phone. And this time the message was to tell the next person, George, where he was to go. Well then. What the fuck is this test that Kinzo's gonna set up? What is it? Is it going to be personalized, or is it going to be the same? Alright, let's see who's where, and Of course, since the time of her birth, Jessica had been raised in this mansion. The atrophied Western-style house that the cousins called a mansion was her home. And yet she had never understood her cousin's feelings as much as she did today. At the same time, she had never felt her own home, which she knew well to be as alien as it seemed now. Her own room. This had once been her hideaway, the only place in this vast mansion where she could feel at peace. However, she had never felt as much pressure coming from that door as she did now.
テストだって一体何が待ち受けてやがるんだまさか私の机とか引っかき回してねえだろうな
Probably just a tied up person that you have to beat to death or something. I don't know. She acted tough, trying to deceive herself. Trying to make herself believe that she wasn't scared of anything. Readying herself, she opened the door to her room. Alright, let's see what the hell is in it. Okay. Lights turned on. Any dead bodies, any messages in blood? When she saw that, fortunately, the room didn't appear to be messed up. She relaxed. No one was there. Of course. There was nowhere for anyone to hide here. Right away, Jessica locked the door behind her. This way, the room was safe. She peeked under the bed and in the closet, but of course no one was hiding.
なんだってんだ
She looked at the clock. It was just past 23:10. As her tension lessened and fatigue came back to her entire body, she realized how messed up this whole day had been. It was still about 2:30. The plan had been for all the cousins to gather, have fun playing around, and talk animatedly about various things together into the night. Normally, we would have been doing that kind of thing right now. Why has that turned into this?
全部あのクソジジイのせいだ
Yeah.
よくも母さんをみんなを
She shook her head back and forth with anger and sadness. But there was no one tear to direct those emotions at. Because of the lock, this room's security was guaranteed. Remembering that one more time, Jessica somehow regained her calm. If it keeps up like this and nothing happens, I want to go to the dining hall and see Mom's dead face. Even though go to empathize so strongly that was gruesome and that I definitely shouldn't go to look at it. Even so, I wanted to see her face at the end. But we were warned repeatedly that stepping out of line even a little would put the hostages in danger. Could it be that walking the door was also against the rules? If I closed myself up in here, I alone might be saved. But if I don't open it, it'll surely be against the rules, and Dad, Canon-kun, Shannon, Aunt Kyrie, and Dr. Nanjo will be killed. There's no way the scales will balance out between 5 wives and my own one wife. Jessica tightly shut her eyes, resisting the other part of herself that said, "Isn't it okay as long as I stay alive?" Faced the door and made to unlock it. At that time, fuck. Clap, 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 clap. A crisp applause rang out, making Jessica's heart leap.
鍵をかけたままならルール違反ということになり、人質たちにも危害が及ぶかもしれません。しかしそれでも自分の命だけは助かるかもしれない。しかしあなたはその誘惑に耐え、自ら鍵を開けようとした。そのあなたの勇気は称賛に値しますよ。
I, the owner of this room, searched everywhere a human could have been hiding. Where did this man come from? There's nowhere for a human to hide. But could something non-human have managed it? This was supposedly my first meeting with this largely built middle-aged man. I didn't recognize this guy who looked like a butler and bore the crest of the one-winged eagle.
はじめまして、ジェシカ様。私は親方様より家具頭を任されております。72柱の27位。ロの上と申します。
ロの源氏さん。
ああ、 源氏は私の弟のような存在、あるいはこの世界における私の正しい姿だったのかもしれません。
Ooh, isn't that some implications?
より白だったと言っても良いでしょうな。
Vessel, huh?
何を言ってんだこいつ。
What do you mean by that?
おっと、これは失礼しました。人間には話しても理解できぬ話。それでは本題に移りましょう。
So, like with the witches, as we've seen with Burn Castle and Lama Delta, the demons themselves have counterparts as well, with Willow being counterpart to Genji, obviously. Interesting.
クソジジイの言うテストとかいうやつだな。
さようでございます。こちらが親方様がジェシカ様に賜まれましたテストでございます。
Ironov's elegant gesture, like that of a butler ordering for her meal to be set out. Many gold butterflies flew out of nowhere. As a crowd of gold butterflies spun around in a small swirl, they gathered in one place. A letter. Then that golden mound disappeared like a pile of leaves blown away by a cold, wintry wind. And there lay a western envelope with the one-winged eagle crest done on it in gold leaf. With a gesture, Voronov urged her to pick it up. Jessica timidly did so and opened the letter inside.
なんだこれ。
非常にシンプルな次期当主の資格を探るテストでございます。
What, kill the others?
そこに記されている問いに、どうか後ろ宮家を担う次期当主としての心構えで臨んでいただき、
Question, huh?
答えとそれに至ったお考えをお聞かせください。
Okay, so it's a question, not instructions. Shaking, Jessica looked between the paper and Wono's face several times. Why do I have a feeling the question is just something as simple as, is magic real? Or something to that nature? Or like, how did I get into this room? At that time, George, who had been called out after Jessica, could be seen in the arbor of the Rose Garden. If things had gone normally, he had planned to give Shannon the ring that would be proof of their engagement, here, at this time on this day. But the woman in front of George now was not Shannon.
読みなさい。それがゴールドスミスからあなたに与えられるテストよ。
George picked up the Western envelope, which was on the table where he once had tea with Shannon. It read its contents. Perhaps its message was short. After glancing at it, George's eyes grew sharp.
なんだいこれは。
見ての通りよ。それがあなたに与えられる次期当主の資格を探るテスト。次期当主としての資格を自らに問いながら、その問いに答えなさい。
What the hell is the question?
なんてバカな問題だ。
そうね。本当にバカな問題ね。なら、ゴールドスミスにとっての後ろ宮家の家督なんて、その程度のものなんじゃない？
Stupid question, huh? George lowered his eyes to the surface of the letter once again, examining its contents. George and Jessica. While the tests given to them were slightly different, they were almost exactly the same.
以下に掲げる3つのうち、
Oh shit, okay. Put on your thinking caps, everybody.
2つを得るために1つを生贄に捧げよう。
Oh.
簡単な3択じゃない。どれを見殺しに選ぶか自ら決めなさい。選択を拒めばテストは中断。
Choose to abandon her.
私の手であなたをこの場で殺してしまってもいいって許可をもらってるわ。それさえも選択肢に含めるなら4択ね。私君みたいなこと遊ぶのは随分久しぶりだからそれも嫌いじゃないわよ。
この3択はあくまでもテストなのか、それとも選択は結果を伴うのか。
何を甘えてるの？君が選択したものをただ。
Among the three mentioned below, in order to gain 2, sacrifice 1. 1, your wife. 2, Shannon's wife. 3, everyone else's wives. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Wow. If you do not choose all of the above, you will be lost.
どうしてシャノンの名がここにあるんだ。
For just against canon. Yep.
2番目の選択肢にはそのものが最も必要とする愛する者の名が。ジェシカへのテストの2番にはカノンって書かれているはずだわ。
このバカな問題をジェシカにも出したのか。
ジェシカのことなんかどうでもいいでしょ。今試されているのはあなたよ。実に簡単な3択だわ。他の2つのためにどれを捨てられるかということよ。
And this fulfills the second twilight of splitting the two that are close.
簡単でしょ。それでも決まらないならコインでも貸してあげようかしら。
コイン2面しかないものでどうやって3択を。
Let's say the coin lands on its edge. And Ozgov can be saved. Fucking look and see if he can then.
自分の命を捨てられる者がいるとなればおのずと残る選択肢は2つのみ。愛する者のために全ての人間を諦めるか、一人でも多くを救うために愛する者一人を諦めるか。どっちにももっともらしい大義名分がつけられるわ。だって今やこの六軒島は悪魔の島ですもの。人間の世界の甘ったるい馴れ合いなんて必要ないの。誰も責めないわ。あなたの心の赴くままに後ろ宮家の家督を継ぐにふさわしい資格が自らにあるかを問いながら。いいえ、自らが後ろ宮家当主であると思って選択なさい。
Well, I mean, obviously, the right answer for it to become the next head is to sacrifice everybody else. I mean, what is Kinzo doing right now? Sacrificing his entire family for the one he was, huh? But what is the right answer, huh? Do you sacrifice the world for one person? Or do you sacrifice that person for the world? It's an impossible choice, isn't it? So I wonder what... This is obviously Jessica and George's. What is Bador's and Maria's test, then? Jessica crumpled the letter up and threw it on the floor.
お怒りはごもっともと思いますよ。私も非常にお気の毒で、それでいて実に滑稽な出題だと思います。
I mean, you just find everything funny, won't you?
自分から死にたいと願う人間なんているもんか。そして愛する人の命を見捨てて生き残りたいと思う人間なんているもんか。そして自分たちだけ良ければ他の人間全てを見殺しにできる人間なんているもんか。
いいえ、ジェシカ様、いても良いのでございますよ。ここは六軒島、悪魔の島。今や人間の世界から完全に切り取られ、魔界にどっぷりチーズフォイルのように沈んでおります。人の世の価値観を次の燃えないゴミの日に出してしまいますとですからどうかジェシカ様が心より欲するものを順にお選びください。その結果残ったものがこの狂った今宵にふさわしきジェシカ様の回答となりましょう。
ふざけるな。こんなのどれも選べるものかよ。
いずれも選ばねば上記の全てを失う立派な第四の選択肢でございます。それを選ばれるのもまた一興でございましょう。ただそれを選び結局自らの命を落とされるなら潔く一番の自分の命を選び他の二つを救われた方が賢明かと思います。すべてはジェシカ様の選択に委ねられます。
Now here's the thing. These are two the same thing, so this is kind of like a prisoner's dilemma type of situation, huh? Let's say the most opportune situation that allows everybody to live and only for two people to die is if Jessica and George choose to kill themselves. Let's say, or in another situation, George chooses Shannon, Jessica chooses everyone else's. In that situation, only Cannon would die. So this is a very interesting dilemma here. Oh, you son of a bitch, Kinzo.
どうぞ後宮家の跡継ぎにふさわしい回答とその信念をお聞かせくださいませ。このロノで親方様の血を引きし末裔にふさわしき素晴らしい回答を心より期待いたしております。
くしょー。
That scene was observed through the magical crystal ball. It's so... I'm sorry. Out of everything, this is the most, like... he literally has a fucking crystal ball. Are you kidding me? Oh, that's funny. That's funny as shit. That scene was observed through the magic crystal ball Kinzo held. Yes, as I observed this through my magical orb. Kinzo finally couldn't hold it back and spreading his arms and facing the heavens began laughing in an explosive voice.
何を迷うか愚かなる孫たちよ、我が末裔たちよ。即答できる簡単な問題ではないか。朝のトーストにバターを塗るかジャムを塗るかより迷わぬ選択であるというのに。
Well, I mean, they have, you know, they have souls, Kinzo.
お前たちには正しい答えがわかるか？
Hey, don't look at me, man. He turned to face the Chestfire sisters, who had been waiting on him.
いえ、申し訳ございません。私にはわかりません。ゴールドスミス教。
愚か者め、選べもせぬとはな。ゲームオーバー。自らの生きる理由も目的も見出せん愚かなウサギめ。貴様など誰にも気づかれずに踏み潰されて生を終えるアリ一匹ほどの価値もないわ。死ね、潰れろ。私が瞬きしている間に消えてなくなれ。お前はどうか。
私は一番の自分の命を生贄とするであります。武具は戦い、知ってこそであります。そして武具は敵を撃ち滅ぼし味方を守るためにある。愛する者たちを守って死ねるなら本望であります。
ほう、武具らしい実に見事な模範解答よ。即答、大いに結構。そう答えれば人参が一本余計にもらえると教えられてきたのか。違うよな。それすらも違うよな。そう聞かれたらそう答えようと、お前はただ吹き込まれた通りに答えたに過ぎない。お前も今のウサギと同じだ。自分の生きる理由と目的を未だに見出せずに生きている。生きる価値なきクズめ。貴様など潰されて他の家畜の餌にでもなるのがお似合いよ。
はっ。家畜の餌光栄であります。
違うだろう。もう誰も死ぬところを見たくないんだろう。それがなぜ認められるのか。認めろよ。お前の古傷の奥の奥が未だに産んで腐っていること。不臭にて鼻が曲がりそうであるわ。愚かなる腐れウサギめ。お前にはこれが褒め言葉である。
ありがとうございますであります。
さて最後のお前はどうか。この3択から何を選ぶ？
にひ、迷うことなく当然2番であります。
おお、2番か。愛する者を生贄に捧げることを胸を張って選べる者は多くない。訳を聞かせよ。
Okay, yeah, so that's one. I made a mistake with the old prisoners delivered. Basically, okay, I thought it was the other way around of like choosing who to spare, but no, as a sacrifice. So obviously, the prisoner's dilemma would be, let's say, George chooses everyone else, while Jessica chooses, you know, to sacrifice. Yeah, if everyone else. Yeah, okay. Yeah, basically George picks, like, everyone else besides, you know, Shannon himself to be killed. But what if Jessica also chooses everyone else as well? Doesn't that cancel out? Doesn't also kill Shannon in canon if they both chose everyone else? Ooh.
愛する者はいつかいなくなるからです。愛する者がいなければ傷つかないし、いなくてもいつかまた誰かを愛せるかもしれない。だから今愛してる者なんて大した価値はないのです。にひ
なるほど。それでそういう回答になるわけか。はい、ウサギは寂しさで死ぬと聞いたが、お前の心は一体いつ殺されたというのか。ならばウサギよ、問いを変えよう。2番の選択肢を 愛するものではなく、そなたが愛したものの思い出に変えようではないか。どうかこれでももう一度選べるか。何が愛してるものに大した価値はないだ、愚かなウサギよ。自らの愛の深さにも向かい合えぬクズめ。選んでみよ。愛したものを忘れられると選んでみや。選べるだろう。選べるものな。ほら選べるって言ってみろよ。
選べるであります。
Jeez.
選べるであります。
ゴールドスミス卿、それくらいでどうかお許しを。
もうよいわ、クズウサギどもめ。お前たちはワルギリアのところへ行き、地下牢の見張りを手伝うのだ。消えよ。
The Chestar sisters, with their respective old wounds of the heart gouged out, escaped by disappearing. After that, even though there was no one to hear, Kinzo continued talking by himself as though in a play.
とこのように愉快なテストなわけだ。実のところを言えば、これが正解という選択肢はない。
Yeah.
むしろどの答えであろうともよどみなく素早く、そして確固たる信念と揺るがぬ強き自らの意志で選べるかどうか。その理由と意志の方が重要なのだ。私はそれを知りたいのだよ。ああ、我が末裔たちよ。お前たちはどのような答えを見せてくれるのか、実に楽しみだ。
Their reason and willpower.
私か。ああ、もちろん同じ問いを突きつけられたことがあったとも。その悪魔の問いに見事答えたからこそ、私は黄金と名誉とあの魔女を我が物とすることができたのだよ。
Oh?
私が選んだ答えはどれか。
I wonder what did you choose,
言う
Kinzo?
までもないよな。なあ
Yeah, it's pretty obvious. Kinzo, you crazy fuck.
さて、そろそろ答えは決まりましたでしょうか。
As Jessica stared at the letter that had been crushed and lay on the floor, she hung her head in constant silence. All that filled the room was the stir from wind and rain shaking the treetops. Regardless of how noisy that was, it actually made the stillness more apparent. Wonov waited for Jessica's answer. However, Jessica didn't answer. Whether she was lost in deep thought or had stopped thinking, Wonov couldn't tell. No, he might have actually known. But cruelly, like a demon, Wonov urged Jessica to voice it.
どれも選べないというなら、そのお命、せめて痛みがないよう安らかに頂戴させていただきますが、さて。
せよ。
はい、聞こえかねました。もう一度お願いできますかな。
Jessica lifted her face and looked straight into Wonov's eyes. It seemed that she had decided on her answer.
殺せよ。
Ooh. Jessica said it one more time. Clearly. Perhaps Wonov had imagined that this would be her answer from the very beginning. Without any surprise, he smiled widely and nodded.
ジェシカ様ならそのお答えを選ぶと思っておりました。さて、このテストはどの選択肢が正解不正解というものではありません。重要なのはどのような考えを経てその答えに至ったかという部分です。さあ、ジェシカ様のそして次期当主としての心構えを持ってそれをお答えください。
別に死にたくて1番目を選んだわけじゃないさ。2番のカノン君を死なせること、こんなのもちろん論外だから除外。3番のその他みんなの命、こんなのももちろん論外だから除外。そしたら1番目の選択肢しか残らなかった。
消去法ですか。積極的にお選びになったわけではないと。
After chuckling slightly, Wonov dropped his gaze. A human couldn't even imagine what answer a demon would have been expecting. All she could understand was that this was apparently slightly below Wonov's expectations.
悪くはありませんが、良くもない回答です。60点というところでしょうか。少し失望しましたよ。
自信を持って選べみたいなこと言っておいて、そうしてやったら失望とは自分勝手な野郎だぜ。
消去法というだけではないようですね。いずれにせよ落第点ですが、もう少しお考えがあるようだ。伺いましょう。
死にたくないさ。だから1番なんて誰だって選びたくない。人は幸せに生きたくて生の限りをあがいてるんだぜ。だから本当はまず1番目なんてありえないはずなんだ。
しかしあなたは1番目の選択肢、自分の命を捨てることを選んだ。その選択肢しか残らなかった。
一応それぞれの選択肢を選んだ後の未来のことを考えてみたぜ。
ほう、いかがでしたか。
まずカノン君を死なせてみた。私は自分の大好きな人を見捨ててまで生きる残りの生涯を想像してみた。
それはどんな生涯でしたか。
生きるにも値しない最低の女だった。いつまでも自らの選択を悔やみ、ただ後悔だけのために生きるみすぼらしい女だった。大好きな人を見捨てて生きることを選んだ最低の女なんて私には許せない。私が自ら引導を渡してやる。
勇ましい。では3番目の選択肢も考えられたのでは。
あ、私とカノン君以外の全員を死なせても見た。カノン君はそんな私を好きになるはずはない。そして私もまた、いくらカノン君がいてもそのために見捨てた大勢の命が生涯十字架となってのしかかってきた。そしてその十字架はカノン君にまでのしかかった。私はカノン君に十字架を背負わせるために愚かな選択肢を選んだりはしない。もしそんなことをする私がいたなら、私はその未来の私を許さない。その女にも私が引導を渡してやる。
Jessica had pictured it in her mind, the future her, beyond each of the three choices. There were three Jessicas, Of the three, two had regrets. Only one could hold her head high and smile at Canon.
私さ、生意気にもカノン君に説教したことがあるぜ。自分の人生を思い切り生きてみろみたいなことを。
自分の人生を思い切り生きる。味わいある言葉ですね。それは意外にとても難しいものです。
だからさ、私が胸を張ってカノン君に見せなきゃならないんだよ。胸を張ってお天道様を真正面から見て思い切り笑顔でいられる生き方ってやつを。
あなたの自己犠牲をカノンは受け入れられるでしょうか。あなたの身勝手な選択が余計に彼を傷つけてしまうことには思いが至りませんか。
だから伝言を頼みたい。
ほう、お聞きはしますが、何しろ私は悪魔です。約束は守らないかもしれませんよ。
守って、約束。
Jessica spoke that looking quite unconcerned. She had asked the demon who was about to take her wife to pass on a message, and she didn't think at all that she would be betrayed. At that extremely innocent smile, one of Krista's eyes widely and shrugged his shoulders.
いいでしょう。それで彼に何と伝えればよろしいですか。
カノン君の思いっきりの人生を生きて。ちょっと違う。カノン君のじゃない。本当の名前は未だに教えてもらえないけど、本当のカノン君の人生を思いっきり生きて。そう伝えて。
お嬢様。
ジェシカ、お前というやつは。
炉の上は気まぐれですから伝言をしなかった可能性もありました。幸運でしたね。私がこの光景を見せていて。
The must-read three-sided mirror was set beyond the bars, and the scene was with Jessica reflected on it. Huh. And the next mirror, the scene with George, was reflected in the same way. None of them questioned how a three-sided mirror had appeared from a group of butterflies, nor did they wonder why these scenes with Jessica and George were reflected on it, because the reflected scenes themselves were more important. Hey, the guy reminds me of Lost, especially with the White House at the end of it, but whatever.
そこまでこいつのために命をも投げ出せるというのか。
申し訳ありません。
And also, I feel like the fact Shannon and Cannon's not their actual names reads credence, because in a lot of just magic systems, mythology, myth, legend, whatever, once you tell somebody your actual name, it gives them power, like your real name, you know? Like, I've heard that in many magic systems, mythologies, like, once you give away your real name, you're giving a part of yourself to somebody else as well. So that kind of supports my credence of why Canon, Shannon, Genji, see themselves as furniture, because they have different names. They don't have human names. They have furniture names. I feel like that just lends credence to my theory. Klaus looked at Canon with a complicated expression mixed in with a bitter smile. Canon wouldn't beat his eyes.
ワルギリア様、お嬢様が命を落とされることはありません。僕を殺してください。2番目の選択肢に変えてください。それで全ては丸く収まるはずです。
その願いを 私に叶えることはできませんよ。これはジェシカの選んだ自らの選択なのですから。
At that time, suddenly the air split and the Cheshire sisters appeared, falling into the Vigilia's chest. Virgilia, who still didn't have a clue what was going on, was mobbed by the sobbing Cheshire sisters.
はいはい、大丈夫ですよ、大丈夫ですよ。泣かないで、泣かないで。美味しいお紅茶を入れてあげますからね。お前たち、ここの見張りを任せます。不審な真似をしたらすぐに知らせるのですよ。
The goat attendants all faced with each other, nodding their heads. Virgilia took the Cheshire sisters and left. The sound of them going upstairs could be heard, so they had probably gone to an upper floor. Sup, Codeheads?
チャンスだわ。このヤギ頭どもは頭が悪いみたい。
Yeah.
うまく騙せないかしら。
Kira realized that an opportunity had arrived, but even so, she hadn't thought of a way to break the metal bars. The Jessica reflected on the three-sided mirror had her eyes closed, as though in contemplation. The way she had both hands stuck into her pockets, wanting to be defiant until the very end, might have been her own aesthetic stance.
私の言い分は以上だ。殺せよ。
わかりました。それではご安心を。あなたへの死はどんな眠りよりも優しく慈悲深いものにいたします。
As Romanov raised his palm, he slowly approached Jessica. Realizing that his daughter was about to be killed, Klaus went half mad and repeatedly body slammed the metal bars. The goats looked like they were sneering at how a mere human didn't stand a chance at breaking those bars. Klaus's pointless effort certainly may have been comical, but Klaus was giving it to everything he had. He was now living with all he had as Jessica's father so that he could save her. Kenan made tight fists with both hands. If he used his cursed power, he might be able to cut through even metal bars. But there was a full three goats. There was no way he could defeat 3 of them in an instant. It would instantly be reported, and then even Virgilia and the Cheshire sisters would probably dash in. Even if he could break the bars, that would be the end of it. It was useless. Kenan already knew that the witch sneered at useless efforts like that, so he could do nothing but stare at Klaus's repeated body slams.
庄司様。
Shannon, who had been looking at the three-sided mirror, raised her voice. When they looked, they could see George, who had been silent the whole time, lift his face. It seemed that George had also decided on an answer. What is it? What does George choose?
決まった？
Yeah, from stuff like that, I don't think Klaus is capable of killing his family. Just, it's so sad. It really is.
君の答え。
ああ、決まったよ。
それは揺るぎない答え？
ああ、揺るぎないね。
なら聞かせてもらうわ。
I'm just going to say this right now. From everything we've seen from George, I think he could pick the third option.
ああ、ちなみにジェシカはどうも自分の命を差し出すことを選んだようよ。まさか
優柔不断な君も同じ答えを選んだって言うんじゃないでしょうね。
ジェシカはジェシカの答えを出したのさ。それがどの選択であろうとも、それはジェシカの答えだ。僕の答えに何も干渉しないよ。
そうなら改めて聞くわ。以下に掲げる3つのうち2つを得るために1つを生贄に捧げる。1、自分の命。2、シャノンの命。3、それ以外の全員の命。あなたが選んだのはどれ？まさかジェシカと同じ1番？
違うね。
へえ。
Gab looked a little surprised, because she had thought this timid-looking man would obviously choose that option.
ならよかったわ。私にとって一番退屈な選択肢が外れてくれてよかった。じゃあまさかとは思うけど2番シャノンの命を見つけてみせる？
まさか。今夜まさに婚約指輪を贈ろうという相手をどうして僕が。
これは大胆だわ。それが君の答えなの？
そうさ。僕の答えは3番さ。
Yeah. Yep. George took the third option. Everyone else's lives. Unsurprisingly, Gab hadn't imagined that he'd give an answer like that. She had been sure that he'd choose the same one as Jessica, so she was interested in how he had reached that answer. How he had reached an answer that had surpassed the imagination of the 33rd ranked of the 72 demons.
聞かせてほしいわ。自分と愛する婚約者だけが無事で、それ以外の全てを犠牲にできる境地というのを聞かせてほしいわ。
His mother and father are already dead. So.
あなたもジェシカと同じで消去法というやつ？
違うね。はっきりこれしか僕には選択肢がないのさ。
自分さえ良ければいいと？愛する女と引き換えに世界を犠牲にできると？
君は何を言っているんだい？
何？
George faced the demon as she spoke, almost as though she was disgusted.
僕は今夜ここにシャノンを呼び出し、婚約の証である指輪を渡すつもりだった。僕とシャノンの婚約を祝福しない者もきっと多いだろう。僕は彼女との婚約を宣言することで親族すべてを敵に回すと覚悟していた。僕にはあるんだよ。この島に訪れたその時から。いや違う、彼女に婚約したいと打ち明けたその時からね。
結婚さえできれば他の何もかも犠牲にできると？
結婚とは自分は生涯妻の味方であり続けるということだ。僕にはその時点で彼女のために世界の全てを敵に回す覚悟があるんだ。
Those words through this resetted mirror also reached Shannon's ears, and that determination reached her eyes. Shannon certainly had promised to be given an engagement ring tonight. Then this incident had occurred and she hadn't been able to receive the ring. But now, even though it wasn't in the form of a ring, Shannon had received something even greater. And as proof of that, a single tear with the same sparkle as a diamond dripped down.
それは何ともふるった答えだことね。なるほど。よく考えたら君にこれは気楽な選択肢だわ。
Yeah.
だって君の両親は第一の晩にすでに殺されちゃってるんだもんね。今さら君にとって死んで困る人間は誰もいない。なるほどね。これは簡単な選択だったわ。
何とでも言うがいい。これが僕の、そして僕の次期当主としての覚悟と戦。
The sparkle in George's eyes was blindingly sharp. For just an instant, Gap felt the same sense of threat as Kinzo's. He was slightly overwhelmed.
なるほど。ゴールドスミスと同じ答えというわけ。君もあどけなさそうな顔して将来はとんだ悪魔になるわけね。
So, the question is, Kinzo was presented with the same question as well, in order to gain the gold in Beatrice. But what does it mean by everyone he sacrificed? If I remember correctly, he gained the gold. When did he gain the gold? It was after he became the head of the Ushiro-Mira family. We know that for sure. So, when it refers to everyone else, what does that mean exactly? Perhaps the rest of the family? Maybe. Because it was first mentioned that he became head of the family by relatives of the Ushiro-Mira, since most of them did die in the Kanto earthquake. So maybe they were sacrificed in order for Kinzo to gain both Beatrice and the gold.
なんだ、私たちとてもうまくやれそうじゃない。君がゴールドスミスの後を継ぐ。そしてやがては私は召喚され君に仕えることもあるかもしれない。それも案外面白いかもしれないわね。
Gap had needed to change her opinion of George. This man bore determination and resolve unimaginable from his outward appearance, and not just now, but since the very beginning.
僕には今すぐ当主を継承する覚悟がある。いや違うね。君はこのテストを当主として考えろと言った。だから僕は自分が当主であると前提して答えたんだ。いや、それすら違う。当主そのものとして考えた。僕は今後ろ宮家の当主なんだ。
Oh, George. Your mother would be proud.
見事だわ。そこまで言えるなんてね。君はどうやらかなりの大物だわ。バトラとマリアのテストはまだだけど、私は君が合格でいい気がする。でもその答えがかけねなしの本当のものならね。
僕の覚悟を疑うというのか。
君が選んだ選択肢を実行できる？今すぐ自らの手でこの島に存在する全ての命を生贄に捧げることができる。
With your own hands.
自らの手でよ。
できるね。その覚悟はあると僕は何度も言っている。
Holy shit, George.
ならば今すぐゲストハウスに戻る。バトラとマリアを殺しなさい。それが終わったら他の人質たちも連れてきてあげる。
君の手でシャノン以外の全員をその目の前で処刑してみせるのよ。できるんでしょ？
できるね。僕の覚悟は君程度のそれとはレベルが違う。
Oh my god.
ならば実行しなさい。全てに死を。新しき後ろ宮家の当主としてこの血塗られた儀式の遂行を。
了解したよ。実行する。僕は今やもう後ろ宮家の当主だ。
ええ、そうよ。自らの手でその玉座を赤く染めなさい。君は悪魔たちを滑る魔界の王となる。
Gap was convinced this man truly was fitting to succeed Kinzo's madness.
吹けよ嵐、鳴らせよ雷鳴。新しき魔王の誕生を祝うがいい。悪魔の島は今新しい王を迎えた。
In response to the demon's call, a tempest raged more and more. Then a massive lightning bolt fell, its tearing thunder and blowing light, giving it sensation of a moment of silence.
でさ、その殺害の順番だけど僕が決めていいわけだよね。
どうぞご自由に。新しき六軒島の魔王兵とあなたの御心の赴くままに。
とりあえずさ、その一番目が君になるわけだけど、いいかな。
A gust of wind blew, stirring up George's jacket as if it was a cloak. It was very much like the cloak worn by the head. It definitely carried that impression of dignity. At that time, Gab truly did see the storm wiped away and the sky covered with a pure white and vast full moon. The man who called himself the new head bore the full moon on his back and sneered at the demon.
後宮家親族の全ての命さえも今や僕の財産だ。それに損害を出してくれた賠償、安くは済まないよ。まさか僕の両親に夏日おばさん、ルドルフおじさん、ローザおばさん、そして源氏さんの命を奪っておいてこの僕が見逃すと本気で思ってるのかい？
はは生意気よ。
Oh my god, George, you son of a bitch. I did not expect that. The twist at the end there. Son of a bitch. Wona was trying to press his palm against Jessica's chest and stop her heart. But right before he could, his hand stopped. On the carpet at their feet, 1, 2 small red flowers bloomed with a plop, plop. The seed of those flowers was way up high, piercing into the heavens on Jessica's fist. Wono's nose was stained red with spewing blood. Those drops had been dripping onto the carpet.
ちなみにさっきのは乙女としての
Oh, fuck yeah!
次期当主としての回答は別だぞ。
お伺いします。
大好きな人も家族も親族もみんな私が守る。私が当主なの。それは私の責務だ。お父さんは威張ってるだけじゃない。私や母さんを守ってた。 後宮家を受け継ぐ重圧ってやつと何十年も戦ってた。だからわかるぜ、次期当主ってのはな。だからさ、捨てられるんだよ、自分の命くらい簡単にかけられちまうんだよ。
Jessica knew. She knew that in order to protect her family, her father had bluffed and fought alone continuously. Jessica understood something that his back had been telling her. Another left straight was buried into Ono's face. That terrifying strike wasn't due just to the blast knuckle she was using. Oh shit! It was a strike of a person, a family head, who could throw everything in order to protect.
父さんが次期当主の資格を失ったが、順当に次の当主は私が継承するぜ。後ろ宮家当主、後ろ宮ジェシカ。これ以上好きにさせるほどふぬけちゃいねえぜ。
素晴らしい回答です。先ほどの点数を改めましょう。その回答に10点プラス、見事な左ストレート10点プラス。
ってことはあと20点プラスで100点満点だな。
As Wono jumped backwards, somersaulting in midair, he finally wiped away the blood pouring from his nose. It had become not blood, but petals of a red rose. The blood on his face was wiped off, and in its place was a grin filled with a delight he hadn't felt in so many centuries that he couldn't remember.
ジェシカ様の覚悟、満点に値するかどうか、この炉の上、試させていただきますよ。
うせえぜ。
This is what bad were meant when they wanted to go all out.
かかってきやがれ。おいで、奈落へ。
Shit. Suddenly, beneath George's feet, a pitch-black pitfall opened its mouth wide. Of course, George had no way of resisting. After being swallowed up by that, George fell out of the pitch-black hole that had opened up in the ceiling of the arbor. Holy shit, as George fell down, he was hit by a reverse roundhouse kick from a shark still wetted heel, like a strike from a carefully aimed bee. The instant George, after being blown out of the arbor, thought that he'd be swallowed up by a rose bush. Another pitch-black hole opened there and swallowed George up. And this time, a pitch-black hole opened at Gap's feet before her eyes, splitting the defenseless George out of it. At that time, Gap had already finished the preparatory motions for the next reverse roundhouse kick. I have to say, even though it's writing and a couple visuals here and there, the fucking... somehow the... how Ryukishi 7 is able to write fight scenes is fucking awesome. Shit. Damn. Right side of the head, below the right armpit, side of the right knee. As Gap danced and spun like a small cyclone, she kept hitting him left foot, right foot, right foot with successful roundhouse kicks. The fourth one became a sweep, cutting George's feet out from under him and making him fall down. But of course, there was no floor there, but a pitch-black hole. George was swallowed up once again. Gap once again spun around like a small cyclone. George was once again spat out from the ceiling of the arbor.
食らって噛み締めなさい。奈落の終点が一撃。死ね。
The sharp strike of the queen bee pierced the heavens like a rising cyclone. It kicked through George's lower chest as he fell from the ceiling. And then time froze. George was pinned in midair by Gap's raised leg. Still pinned in midair, George moaned. Then Gap, with George still hung up on her foot, grinned.
認めてあげる。君の態度だけは一人前よ。でも力が伴わなきゃダメだわ。知ってる？この世を滑るには3つの力が必要だそうよ。一つは権力、一つは財力、最後は何か知ってる？
本で読んだよ。暴力だろ。
正解。君にはそれが足りないわ。
Gotta find release, George. She kicked up bookboards one more time, changing into another roundhouse kick and knocking him into a pillar.
権力を伴わない王者にも、財力を伴わない王者にも、そして暴力を伴わない王者にも、人は誰も恐れない。金蔵はその3つを兼ね備えたわ。だからこそ暴君として君臨した。君も金蔵の後継者を名乗るならば、その貫禄を見せてごらんなさい。
Yeah, Kinzo's a bit of a fucking tyrant.
ほら、いつまで寝ているの？立ちなさい。じゃないとまた落ちるわよ。
悪くない動きですよ。しかしレディーには少々ふさわしくないかと存じます。
いやー、ひょろひょろとちょこまかと反撃してこねえのかよ。なめてんのか、うぜえやつ。
Rono dodged skillfully, jumped back and avoided Jessica's fist. But he still didn't strike back himself. Because of his dodge that was as rapid as a fluttering flag blown by strong winds, Jessica's fist wasn't even able to touch him. Amidst the sensation that her own blood was boiling, Jessica regained her offensive composure. Even though this room was large for a bedroom, it was a very cramped place to keep up such exaggerated dodges in for long. She calmly realized that and started using not just her fists but her legs as well.
ほう、ボクシングは腕でやるだけのうちは反応です。腕は熱く吠えたける獅子のよう。そして足は冷たく獲物を狙って追い詰める蛇のよう。
蛇に足はねえぜ。
確かに。
Jessica began cornering Rono towards the wall with perfect footwork. She didn't let him get around her. Rono's magnificent dodges looked flashy, but they needed a large footing. Once cornered, he wouldn't be able to dodge anymore. Jessica knew the characteristics of her weapon, Blast Knuckle, very well. This powerful weapon's most notable characteristic was how it didn't give the opponent a chance to defend. Even if they blocked with their arm, that arm would receive direct damage. If it hit the wrong way, it might even break a bone. So she cornered him. With this fist, she whittled away at this demon who'd lost any way to escape.
ほっと。おや、いつも。
ようやく追い詰めたぜ。みんなを捕らえている場所はどこだ。クソジジイのいる場所はどこだ。洗いざらい喋ったらそのヒゲをむしり取るだけで勘弁してやるぜ。
それは困ります。これでもセットに毎朝1時間をかけているのですか。
ギブスが世話になったらそれもできねえな。
おっと。
Rono had blocked Jessica's fist with his arm. He tried to act as though it was no big deal, but it must have hurt a lot. Jessica grinned. Rono smiled the same way, but twitched slightly.
なるほど。これは確かに痛いですね。
最終勧告。泣いて詫びろ。
それはできませんね。キャラが崩れます。
ならお前が崩れ落ちるといいぜ。鶴瓶打ちだー。
Jessica's fist went buried into Rono, but there was a resistance that seemed too hard and the sound of breaking glass which startled Jessica. At a glance, it looked like Rono had caught Jessica's fist with his palm. That wasn't quite true. When Rono opened his hand, a faint purple glowing barrier like a glass shield appeared, stopping the attack by a hair's breadth. Son of a bitch. Pulling herself together, Jessica went her fist fly again, but with a truly magnificent gesture, rolled to have caught all of them.
悪魔ですので、この程度の魔法くらいは、それにしてもなかなかやりますね。人間だったら私はここで降参だったでしょう。悪魔だからまだ戦い続けることができる。
おかしな真似を。
それで終わりですか？攻撃を繰り出すばかりでご自身の防御がおろそかではありませんか？
Oh shit. Moldov's palm shot to within a hair's breadth of Jessica's stomach. Jessica was knocked away by the purple shield, rolled backwards, and smashed her head on the bed.
人間ごときに私のシールドは破れませんよ。もう二度と私の体に触れることができると思うことです。
ならよ、そのシールドごとぶち抜いてやるぜ。
不屈な刀、その根性。なるほど、次期当主として実にふさわしい。もう少しお相手させていただきましょうかね。これも試験官の役得です。
砕けろ
Oh shit. I have to say, a way to describe, or one way to describe Umineko is, it's a shonen murder mystery. Because it honestly does, like, there are some parts in this game that just straight up feel like out of a fucking shonen. And you know what? I love it, because I love myself some fucking shonen. I love myself some One Piece, you know. And JoJo. Because, by God, sometimes it just feels that way, and I love it. It's so fucking good. Gap looked down on George, sneering. George was on a path in the rose garden, lying face down in a puddle. The merciless rain beat down on him, so that it looked as though even the heavens were mocking him. Come on, George. You got something.
立ちなさい。また落ちるわよ。
George stood up with Shakeaway. It seemed his spirit hadn't given in, but the damage done to his body was rarely significant.
命乞いなさい。君のしていることは何も選ばない4番目の選択肢に同じ。君が選んだのは3番目の選択肢でしょ。両手両膝をついて詫びれば私への比例を許してあげるわ。そしたら君を地下牢へ案内してあげる。そこで君は愛するシャノンと非力な自分のために他の人質たちを一人ずつ殺していくの。できるわよね。その覚悟はあると君は豪語したわ。
George didn't answer, but his gaze was still obstinately resisting surrender.
あまり強情が過ぎると今度こそ奈落の底の底まで。
Gap's strength was evident. That was probably clear, even more than it was to George himself. To Shannon's group watching through the three-sided mirror.
庄司様、もうやめて。私なんかのために。
姉さん。
私のことなんて好きにならなければジョージ様は誰とも戦わなくていいんでしょう。なら私なんて捨ててください。忘れてください。
There's no way that voice could have reached George. But even so, George answered.
嫌だね。僕は屈服しない。
へえ、 どうして？
それが僕の覚悟だからだ。
Whether die standing, whether done to live kneeling.
僕はシャノンのために全てと戦う。そして全てに認めさせ、全てに僕たちを祝福させる。
ねえ聞かせて。どうしてあのシャノンとかいう家具のためにそこまで言えるの？あんなのただの出来損ないじゃない。給仕一つ満足にできないガラクタ家具だわ。
愛する女性への暴言を僕はそれ以上許さない。
だったら何？ひ弱な僕ちゃんが私にどう抗うというのかしら。
人を愛するとは強さだ。それを知ったから僕は強くなれた。シャノン、僕は君を愛している。その言葉だけで僕は何度でも立ち上がれるんだ。
シャノンは力をよ。私に愛を語られても。
いや、伝わった。それが愛だからだ。シャノンには今僕の言葉が聞こえているよ。そうだと信じられることこそが愛だ。
こいつ。
シャノン、君は家具なんかじゃない。家具だったとしても世界でただ一つの僕だけの家具だ。生涯僕と寄り添ってほしい。僕には君が永遠に必要だ。
庄司様。
焼けるわ。口説きならうちの人を超えたわね。
若さですな。
愛が強さなら坊やはどうしてそんなにひ弱なの？その弱さがつまり君の愛の程度なわけね。婚約者への愛もひ弱。両親のあっけない死に様もひ弱。君の人生は何から何までひ弱だわ。
シャノンは僕に愛と強さを教えてくれた。もし君が僕の強さだけでシャノンへの愛を確かめようというのなら、僕の愛を教えよ
う。言うわね。なるほど。何度も蹴り倒されて転がされ、それでも立ち上がるのがシャノンからもらった強さだと。ならあっけなく殺されたあんたのお父さんとお母さんからは何をもらったの？
At that time, there was a blackout. What? Even though they were outside?
違う。これは。
What? The thing blocking Gap's vision was the bottom of George's shoe.
側頭蹴り。
Shit.
尾骨骨折。
It stopped right in front of the tip of Gap's
母
nose.
さんにもらったものはこの。
Oh shit, I like this. Fiesta type music. Several moments after Gap jumped back. Of course, that was too late. If George hadn't stopped, he would probably have caused the damage he announced.
そして父さんにもらったのが忍耐力。
Anger of all bowling points isn't something to be truly feared. True anger is disciplined by fortitude.
君の暴力的意思表示は理解した。また婚約者と両親への名誉毀損も理解した。そしてそれを撤回する気がないんだね。
こいつ。
Now George is reminding me of Sanji from One Piece.
君の攻撃はもう十分に理解したから、そろそろいいかな、反撃しても。
ほざくな、坊やの分際で。
A pitch black hole opened its mouth at George's feet. But George rapidly opened his way and straddled the hole. The same move won't work again. It was an extremely smooth dodge, and the upper part of his body didn't even quiver.
忍耐とは熱くならず冷静に相手の出方を研究することだ。何のために？決まってるじゃないか。わかるかい？
わかんないわよ。
反撃してきっちり借りを返し、二度とちょっかいを出したくないと思わせ、涙と鼻水で顔面をぐちゃぐちゃにして、それを拭うのを忘れて、額を地面にこすりつけて何度も謝りたくなるほどに、完膚なきまでに完璧に徹底的に叩きのめすためだよ。
Hell yeah. Beat the shit over! George dashed. Pitfalls opened one after another, but George didn't step in them again. And because he was persistent, he was able to reach Gap a second time.
後ろ回し蹴り、顎部骨折。
It was stretched out more forcefully, beautifully than Gap's had been. Of course, while it centered directly in Gap's face, it stopped a hair's breadth away. Perhaps she couldn't rely on pitfalls at this close range. Gap kicked at George's shin as his diversion. In an instant of weakness, when he tried to deal with that, she aimed a kick at his stomach. It was a bead-like stab by her silhouette heel, but it swept through the air where George no longer was.
上段かかと落とし、鎖骨骨折。
By Gap's side, George calmly announced that, his foot still raised. That monarch's heel had swung down, a collarbone fracture would probably have been the least of her worries.
こいつ、資金じゃ私より強いの。距離を。
She jumped backwards to open a watch gap between them. She jumped and wept and even flipped in midair, increasing that distance. It should have been magnificent, but for some reason was very similar to the movements of a small, scared animal. If she opened the distance between them, she'd be able to fight at the range that was her speciality, using a mixture of pitfalls and kicking techniques.
バカが私を倒せるチャンスを3度も逃した傲慢。奈落の底で後悔なさい。
When she magnificently landed and tried to aim a pitfall, where's the sharp wind cut Gap's bangs? Yes, it cut them. It happened twice. This time it didn't just stop by the hair's breadth away, it scattered her bangs with its air pressure.
アルマーダ・コン・マルテーロ、第一撃で眼底骨折、第二撃で脳挫傷。
God damn! Gap was too shocked to speak. George had closed in over all that distance in an instant, wetting off a fiercely nimble mid-air double kick. Furthermore, with the accuracy and edge of a razor, it had cut nothing more than several of her bangs.
空手で蹴りの威力を、テコンドーで速度、カポエイラでは自在の間合いを学んだ。母さんがいろいろと移り気でね。でもいろいろと特徴を学べて勉強になったよ。
なぜ当てない？私が女だからとでも言うのか？
君は王者の力として3つ目に暴力と言ったね。君はどうやらまだその暴力の意味を誤解しているようだ。この場合の暴力とはね、短絡的に振るわれる乱暴のことを言うんじゃない。敵対すれば無傷では済まないという抑止のことを指すんだよ。
抑止だ。
In short, this is what it meant. This was why all of George's attacks up until then had stopped a hair's breadth away. These bare misses, which were more difficult than hitting directly, had all been performed so splendidly. Also, if George had wished it, any one of those would have probably crushed Gap. He had daringly not done that.
君も言ったろ。暴力は滑る力だと。暴力で相手を破壊してしまったら滑られないじゃないか。王者の暴力とはね、見せるだけなんだよ。破壊しない、屈服させて自らの財産とするんだからね。君に泡でも吹かれたらみんなの囚われてる場所に案内させられないよ。
Gap had to admit it. She had to admit that George understood force in its truest sense.
みんなのところへ案内してもらうよ。抵抗はおすすめしない。もう寸止めはしないよ。
ごめんねリア、あんたの兵隊借りさせて。私一人じゃ手に負えないわ、こいつ。
Oh shit. As a large pitch black hole opened in the sky, funk, 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 3 muscular goat attendants fell out. They surrounded George.
増援会？それは僕がひ弱であることを撤回したと受け止めていいのかな？
認めるわ。あんたの人間の力を侮ってたわ。
違うね。これが愛を覚えた男の強さなのさ。
ほざけ！臭いことをシャーシャーと。さあヤギたち、その男を潰して肉団子にしてやりなさい。このヤギたちはバカだけどパワーだけはあるみたいよ。あんたの死体婚約者にも見分けがつかなくしてあげるわ。
降伏拒否並びに継戦の意思了解したよ。以後は君の攻撃に等しい分だけ君に実害が及ぶことを宣言する。僕をまだ攻撃するつもりなら相応の損害を受けることになると覚悟。
Oh shit. When George proclaimed that, a faint red magic circle rose up around him. It seemed that George couldn't see it. However, Gap, being a demon, could.
魔法？どうしてこいつが防御結界を？しかもそれ反撃特化。それがあんたの抑止という意味。
From a demon's perspective, that may have been magic. But in George's eyes, it was determination. It was a determination filled with certainty, which would be merciless to anyone who wished to fight anymore, and which would force them to prepare for a significant counterattack. Determination with certainty becomes magic. Back to here, Wonov had been accurately blocking Jessica's fist with his shield, but something felt odd. Even though he was currently catching them on his shield, he felt his arm get jarred and it hurt. It should have prevented all physical damage. However, the damage from her fist was gradually being transmitted to his arm, piling up. Wonov tried to act like he was composed so that this wouldn't be noticed.
私はバテねえぜ。どうしたよおっさん。嫉妬は答えてきたかよ。
いくら攻撃しようとも無駄ですよ。私のシールドはあなたには砕けないとどうしてわからないのです。
砕けないからってよ、殴るのをやめはしないぜ。どんな固い心にだって言葉はわずかずつ響き、やがてはひびを入れることだってできるんだ。
Just like Cannon.
私は信じてる。この世に無駄な努力なんて存在しないってな。だから生きるんだろ、思いっきり。言葉だっていつか通じるなら拳だって同じってことだぜ。私の辞書には諦めるって文字は書いちゃいねえんだぜ。
God damn. Those words were probably aimed at Cannon. Cannon, who had seemed to reject Jessica's words. But Jessica knew that no matter how stubborn his heart was, those words would eventually soak through. She believed that they would surely reach his heart, that the day would come when he would stop calling himself furniture and disparaging himself, and that he'd step out into a new life. So Jessica didn't give up. She didn't lose heart.
バカみてえだろ。男には理解できねえだろ。恋する乙女ってのはな、無駄だから諦めるって考えがねえんだぜ。
At that time, Wolf certainly saw. He saw the reddish glow of light that encircled Jessica's fists.
これは参りました。エンチャントですか。浸透付与とは厄介。
Inside her unrelenting fist and determination dwelled the power to succeed no matter what. From a demon's perspective, that was magic. Determination with certainty becomes magic. Determination with certainty becomes magic, huh? Is that what magic truly is? If you want something so bad that you know it will work, that you have the determination to do it, the willpower, the thought, the unwillingness within it, that becomes magic. Which is why when Angie wanted the seven sisters to kill the classmates that were bugging her, that were hurling insults at her, why they couldn't do it. Because Angie didn't have the determination, the willpower to truly kill them. She didn't have that. In order to execute a miracle, in order to execute magic, you must have determination and an unwavering faith in what you do, in your goal, in your perspective to do it.
な、無駄なんてことはねえだろ。通ってんだろ、私の拳。腕をかばってるぜ、おっさん。
もう少し本気を出さざるを得ないようですね。おっしゃる通りのようです。この世に無駄なことなどない。
そうさ、無駄なんて諦めたらそこで人生が終わっちまうぜ。通じるんだよ、絶対に。
I'm an idiot, so this is the only way I can live. But even so, I'll be able to teach Ken-kun about a new world someday. So I'm not going to lose heart in a place like this. I'll definitely defeat you and save everyone.
くそ！なんとか隙間を。
Cross was repeatedly his useless effort to somehow open a hole between the metal bars. Useless? Nothing is useless. There's nothing. Holy shit. The lookout goats had been swallowed up by those black pitfalls and disappeared. Shit, now was their once-in-a-lifetime chance. This was their only chance to break the bars.
よせ、無茶だ。クラウスさん。素手でどうにかなるもんじゃない。道具を探しましょう。無茶をするんじゃない。無駄と諦めたらそれまでと娘に言われてしまった。私の体は無理でも小柄なシャノンかカノンが抜けられれば。
この段階に至っては出ない知恵を絞るより行動あるのみね。力を合わせましょう。私もやるわ。カノン君、男の子でしょ。手を貸して。カノン君？
旦那様、下がってください。
Oh shit.
何をする気だ。
いいよね、姉さん。もう一度だけあがいても。
うん、私ももう一度だけあがくよ。一度だけじゃない、何度でも。
Jessica's voice had reached Canon. Its Shinuya pyramided into his cold, rock-like heart. And George's voice had reached Shannon. If the love he had shown was embodied by strength, she would have to respond in the same way. An incredible metal sound rang out. In the first flash, several metal bars were severed horizontally, and in the next flash, they were severed horizontally again, causing many metal bars to crater to the ground like bamboo shoots cut by a sword. Kraus, Kira, and Najo didn't even have a clue what had just happened.
南條先生、お屋敷や廊下をどっちに？
左奥だ、左奥。
参りましょう、旦那様方。すぐにワルギリア様に気づかれます。
あんたたちは一体何なの？僕たちは。
When Cannon hung his head a little and faltered, Shannon swept his shoulder, smiled, and spoke.
私たちは人間です。
ワルギリア様！警戒網に反応、脱獄です。なぜか見張りのヤギがいません。
え？どうしてです？ガープですね。人の召喚物を勝手に。ガップガップ。
交戦規定確認。脱走者への射殺許可を申請であります。
おやりなさい。やっちゃいなさい。ガップガップガップガップガップ。
了解であります。45-410追撃狙撃戦準備。弾手収束誘導弾。ワルギリア様逃亡阻止結界を。
いったったった。
She really did fall.
そうでしたね。ここから逃がしはしませんよ。ガプガプ言ってたら舌噛みました。
The underground passage in front of them was once again blocked by metal bars. The door was, of course, locked. However, that was no problem for them now.
また鉄格子と頼む。
はい、旦那様。しかしすごいわ。一体どういう原理なのかしら。
原理など興味ないね。大事なのは彼に鉄格子が切断できてここから脱出できることだけだ。
Yeah, fair enough.
気にするなカノン。やれ。
お任せを。
Cannon sliced the metal bars again with his red curved blade. But there was this harsh, strange noise, and the metal bars only had a slight scratch.
なんとこれは
違う。エンチャントされてる。ワルギリア様の魔法錠だ。
切断できる。
Magical locks, huh?
もちろん。でも時間をかけるよ。
3分間待ってやる。
After taking a deep breath and concentrating his mind, Cannon extended a red curved sword again. When he pressed it hard against the metal bars, sparks sprayed, almost as though he was melting through it with a burner.
切断はできそうだな。手こずりそうだな。
旦那様、敵に捕捉されました。下がってください。
追って。誰も来てないわよ。
私の後ろに下がってください。狙われてます。
Shit.
45データ治療。標的は捕捉。地形誤差修正。射撃曲線形成。制御点補正完了。410データリンク。410データ受領。危険区域確認。問題なし。
WO 師団装填48発。個別誘導 F&F。収束誘導弾準備完了。
45射撃準備完了。収束誘導弾装填。410にひひ射撃。
Son of of a bitch. A golden arrow that sparked gold was fired, leaving a gold trail steaming behind. It drew a curve, went through the door, through the keyhole, down the stairs, towards the underground path at full speed.
何か光りましたぞ。
黄金の矢はシールドで防げない。カノン君、迎撃態勢。リンクしよう。
ゲートキーパー了解。姉さんと一緒に戦うのは久しぶりだ。動じらないでよ。
本気でやる。
なら問題ない。
Kennen stopped cutting the bars and stood in front of Shannon. Behind him, Shannon closed her eyes, concentrating her mind deep into the darkness of the underground path. A guided cluster round is a special kind of arrow made up of 48 sub-round bounds together. It explodes mid-flight and divides into 48 mini-arrows. The strength of each individual one is low, but they pierce through all shields and possess a perfect wounding and killing power against personnel, kind of like a magic missile. And on top of that, each one of the 48 possesses autonomous guidance towards their individual targets.
分裂した。
収束誘導弾分裂確認。師団46、7、8、48全弾捕捉。迎撃完成。カノンへデータリンク。
カノンデータ受領。姉さんの能力はすごいな。48発全部見える。
迎撃優先順位に注意。姉さんを信じて。
もちろんさ。僕は目を開ける必要さえない。
迎撃開始。
はあ
Holy shit. God damn.
目標健在。迎撃されました。48発全部。
シャノンとカノンはもともと一組の家具ですからね。揃うと手強いこと。あいたたた。こんな家になっちゃうかしら。落ち着け。再装填。弾種を変更。精密高速狙撃弾。精密狙撃戦準備。
そりゃいいね。追撃不能の超高速弾。ゲートキーパーごときじゃ防御不能だに。
What the hell is a gatekeeper?
精密狙撃戦了解。精密射撃用データ収集開始。
一体今のは何なんだ。
Man, what the fuck is going on?
安心して。私にもさっぱりよ。
Yeah, don't question it by this point, man.
一つわかるのは二人に頼らなきゃ死んでたってことね。
カノン君ありがとう。鉄格子に戻ってる。多分次のは迎撃できない弾が来る。
そんな攻撃をどう防ぐんだ。
撃たせません。カノン君霊視線防備。
Spirit particle? At those words, Cannon closed his eyes tightly and ground his teeth. With Shannon at the center, a pressure and impact that only non-humans could perceive struck. What the fuck is happening? An unseen, unheard impact had struck the Cheshire sisters. 0, 0, and 4 and 110 crouched down, covering the ears, but 45 didn't make it in time. As she stood bolt upright, her eyes rolled. What the fuck?
45損傷。コンパイラのエンジンがいっちゃったよ。
The fuck is their IME?
私もノイズがひどい
45、410、そして WO 損傷。狙撃戦を断念。リンクでウォルに来た。
What was it, like an EMP or something?
再起動しないと。
raising their spirit particle's sensitivity for precision sniping that backfired. They had taken the full brunt of the spirit particle shockwave Shannon had released. Not only 45 who had been hit directly, but also 00 and 4110 who had been linked with her were taken down.
大丈夫ですか？後でまた美味しい紅茶を入れてあげますからね。
申し訳ございませんであります。再起動をかけます。数百秒ほどお待ちを。
All of the Cheshire sisters had fallen over. They would probably get back up eventually, but it looked like it would be hard for them to return to battle with bonds for a while.
家具が武具を一時的にとはいえ退けますか。なるほど。あの子の面白がる筋書きは実に大番狂わせが多いこと。
Virgilia toward the air with a large gesture, motioning as though opening a door.
さあさあおいでなさい。ヤギの従者たち。お仕事の時間ですよ。脱走者たちを殺して捕らえなさい。死体でいいのですよ。どうせ蘇生できるし。
Oh boy, even more goats. A gold-covered door opened to the air and countless giant goats with muscular bodies peeked their faces out.
さあさあ急ぎなさい。脱走者は5人いるから5等賞までの早い者勝ち。素敵なご褒美がありますよ。さあさあ頑張って頑張って。
Virgilia clapped her hands, urging them on. The prize? After facing each other at those words, the goats all rushed to the door at once, trying to get out. Making the exit as packed as the Torzai or the Yamano dwell lines in the morning. Hey, get out of the way, Charnelhead! Fuck off! Each wanted to get out first, so none of them could get out. Virgilia held her head in frustration. By that time, Kennen had managed to cut enough bars to make a crack that could be slipped through. There had been a lot of work for Kraus, large as he was, and Nanjo with his lethal waist, but even so, they all managed to make it through. Nanjo with his lethal waist, that's awesome. But after they did, they only had a couple seconds to be relieved. Immediately, another set of metal bars blocked the way in front of them.
厳重ね。よっぽどここの人を逃がしたくなかったんでしょうね。
カノン、すまんがもう一度頼む。辛いだろうが頼む。
There was sweat on Ken's forehead. You could tell at a glance that cutting the metal bars, which had been made even more solid by magic, had physically exhausted him.
はい、お任せを、旦那様。
お前にしかできん。どうか頼む。
Only he could do it. Holding tightly onto those words, Ken concentrated his mind once again and set himself to the task of cutting metal bars again.
後方、敵が来ます。複数。
ええ、今度は私たちにもわかるわ。すごい地響きね。とんでもない化け物が殺到してくるのがわかるわ。
ご安心を。今抜けた鉄格子を私が魔法城で封鎖します。ヤギたちごときには破れません。
Shinran held her hand out towards the metal bars they had gone through, but she stopped right away.
どうかしましたか？
ワルギリア様が霊波妨害の中央を開始。破られるとまずい。シエスタ姉妹の再起動後のイニシアチブを奪われます。
Shit.
可愛いウサギたちをいじめてくれたお返しはたっぷりとさせていただきますよ。この小賢しい霊視で優位に立とうというなら、それを丸ごと剥ぎ取って私が奪ってあげます。
姉さんは霊波妨害に集中して。あのヤギたちにその鉄格子の隙間は狭すぎる。しばらくは食い止めてくれるはず。
何を言っているかさっぱりだも
ん。だいぶヤバいってことだけは理解できたわ。
Fury picked up a metal bar that Kennen had just cut. Cross had no weapon, but he rubbed his fist, and the two of them glared into the depths of the underground passage where the shaking was coming from.
この鉄格子で遮るものはおしまいのはずだ。ここから屋敷までどのくらいあるんです？かなり歩く。道は平坦だが30分は歩いた記憶が。
全力疾走ならその半分ってことだわ。
They couldn't tell for sure since they didn't have the three-sided mirror, but there was no guarantee that George and Jessica would still be alright against demon opponents after all this time.
歩く2倍の速度で走れば15分。さらにその2倍で走れば8分を切るわ。
さらにその倍の全力疾走なら5分かかる。
Hell yeah.
もったいない。むちゃくちゃな計算ですが。ですが、火島の計算式はそういうものです。
申し訳ございません、旦那様方。後を頼みます。
任せたまえ。カノンは1秒でも早く鉄のしろ。シャノンはワルギリアとかいう魔女への妨害に専念したまえ。追っては私とキリエさんで防ぐ。
Then the wars of beasts rang out from the darkness, and several fiery, glowing, blood-red eyes appeared. Goats that were several levels more massive than the guards were rushing with incredible force. The tremors they created were almost like an earthquake. They brought a frightening intensity and terror, but Kyrie actually laughed with relief. Those massive bodies wouldn't be able to go through the crack in the bars. Damn! The group of goats crashed into the metal bars with a fierce sound like that of a train grinding with a dead end. Clumps of dirt fell here and there from the ceiling. You could tell that the metal bars had bent as if collapsing. Their charging power probably was on par with a train. If the metal bars hadn't been there, they would have likely been overwhelmed the five of them and crushed them in an instant. When the groups of goats pressing up against the metal bars noticed the five people right in front of them, they let out a terrible howl, trying to intimidate the five. Maybe that was out of the pain from their game of push and shove. One calm goat among them figured out what should be done about the metal bars. Then grabbed two of them with its massive arms and began bending them as though opening double doors. Gary sharply jumped his metal part on Goat's vitals. The goat let out a roar of anguish. Probably heard a lot, but that was all. It wasn't enough to bring it down. Still holding the metal pole that she had struck out, Kira relinquished the opposite tip to Klaus. Klaus ran there with all of his might, jumped up and kicked down with all of his weight and kicking power combined. All that destructive power focused on a single pole, drilling it in. Oh shit.
大丈夫ですか。幹部は揉まないように。お薬は後で処方しましょう。お大事に。
As the goat who'd taken a pile bunker to its vitals withered with teary eyes, it nodded its head.
私たちのリンクも結構いけるじゃない。シャノンちゃんたちには負けられないわ。
当然じゃないか。
二人がかりでならいけるわ。次、右側のあいつ。
了解だ。いい嫁さんじゃないか。ルドルフめ。少し愚痴が多かったんじゃないか。
へえ。後で聞かせてもらうわ。ルドルフさん、天国で青くなっても手遅れよ。
Meanwhile, the goats' massive bodies were buried in rose bushes. Even taking into account that a leg's power is 3 times that of a man's arms, this strength surpassed common sense. To think that those massive bodies had been kicked in the chin and flown through the air, it was too fierce. Sorry. Even George seemed a little surprised.
僕の蹴りが化け物にも通用したとはね。驚きだよ。
あんたの反撃特化結界のせいよ。ブレイズした攻撃力をそのまま自らに上乗せしてる。あんたの蹴りにその化け物どもの怪力が加算されてるのよ。
へえ、よくわからないけど僕にぴったりじゃないか。誰であろうとも攻撃してくるなら等しい反撃を覚悟してもらう。専守防衛、僕のポリシーそのものだ。
That's why Gap couldn't easily touch him. The counterattack style barrier had no defense power. However, because of its counting ability, it could be useful in defense by making the opponent hesitate to attack. The goats had been foolish and so had attacked without worrying. But this second effect had worked in full against Gap.
こいつらは単調だね。パワーが互角であるならば小柄な方が有利だ。
Why we dodged them, the log-like arms. With those arms touched the barrier that protected George, they went off a strong red light. The tip of the counterattacking foot would then gain the same sparkle, and the superhuman power of the goat added to its tone. The second goat fell forward and floated in the air for a second. Then George's next roundhouse kick missed right over the fallen goat's head. For an instant, the goat hoped it might get away with its wife. But no! The heel was dropped onto the back of its head and was forced to kiss the ground.
上段回し蹴りからの練りチャギは基本だろ。たまにやると結構当たるよ。
こいつ厄介だわ。マジで厄介だわ。
何が悪魔だ、何が魔女だ。六軒島の主人はこの後ろ宮家だよ。それを体で教えてやるよ。
Oh, fuck yeah.
こいつ。
The only way to finish off George, now that his body was wrapped in a counterattack-style barrier, was to deny him a chance at a counterattack. Nothing to do but suck him into the abyss next, then kick and drop him, kick and drop him, kick and drop him, till she kicked him to death. But George had already completely seen through the faint warning signs that told of the appearance of Gap's pitfalls. If he could jump over that next pitfall, then this time he would probably pulverize Gap's head with his whirlwind-like kick without holding back in the slightest, just as had been done to his parents. She was able to envision that scene vividly. Gap hated Kinzo more than ever for calling her out to this ridiculous island. Even though Wonov had held out a shield, he had finally started using his hands. Without a more powerful shield, he wouldn't be able to block Jessica's fists anymore. The enchantment on Jessica's fist grew the more she fought. The premeditating upgrade had already grown several times. And those fists had also been given an impact upgrade, a piercing upgrade, and a speed upgrade, making them fists worthy to fight on par with a demon.
どうしたよ。へばってきたんじゃねえのかよ。動きが鈍ってきてるぜ。
いいよ。ジェシカ様の動きと思考、動体視力が飛躍的にエンチャントされているのです。私の動きは最初から変わっていませんよ。あなたの動きが私を捉えつつあるのです。
それでも反撃はしねえわけか。
これが私のこだわりですので。しかしこのままというわけにもいきますまい。そろそろ本気で終わりにさせてもらいます。
Oh shit. Wono's face turned into an expression he hadn't shown before. It was full of respect for Jessica in a truly demonic way, because it was an expression he only showed for enemies who made him get serious. With a gesture of his whole body that you couldn't call elegance, Wonov held out a shield with all of his strength, a shield the size and thickness of a wall. It was more tenacious than a simple shield. It literally was a wall. And on top of that, with all Wonov's magical power, it pushed Jessica back bit by bit. Did he plan on pushing her back against the wall and crushing her to death? Whew. Jessica tried to break through the wall with both fists, but it was solid. Without any exaggeration, it was solid.
これがお前の本気かよ。上等だぜ。打ち砕いてやら
今度はそうはさせませんよ。この壁は一味違います。どれ、私もエンチャントさせていただきましょう。
When Wonov made a magic sign almost like a ninja, the wall glowed red for just an instant and some kind of ominous power dwelt within it. Jessica was able to recognize that almost immediately with her body. Every time her fist hit the wall, pain as though glass fragments had scattered and hit all of her body bounded against her.
攻撃反応装甲を付与させていただきました。
Son of a bitch.
ジェシカ様の攻撃を相殺することで威力を減退させ、のみならず反応破片で反撃までできる優れものです。殴り続けるのは大いに結構ですが、それは自らにも及びます。
つまり お前の壁と私の我慢比べってことかよ。上等だ。
ジェシカ様が膝をつくのが先か、壁に押し込まれるのが先か、見物させていただきましょう。
打ち破ってこの壁ごとお前の横っ面をぶっ飛ばす方が先かもな。
Dude, this is so fucking good, man. I love this. Without hesitation, Jessica punched using both fists. Each time she did, a large amount of charge scattered, torturing her entire body. Instantly, several red gashes appeared all over her. She grimaced at the intense agony, but her eyes were burning with fighting spirit and her lips curved in a grin that stood in sharp contrast to the pain.
カノン、まだかね。私たちは平気だが、奴らを防ぐ鉄格子が平気ではなさそうだ。
もう少しです。
Oh my god.
こいつらキリがないわ。おしくらまんじゅうだけで鉄格子を破りかねない。
The group of goats made metal bars creak. Several arms grabbed the bars, twisting them with superhuman strength. However, some bars were being pulled in opposite directions by different hands. Apparently, they really were stupid. Go left! No, go right, dumbass! The way those countless hands grabbed the metal bars sometimes happened to match up by chance. Several hands grasping two metal bars immediately put their power together and pulled the bars to the left and right. The incredible sound of metal bending could be heard, and that crack was getting larger bit by bit. They attacked the arms of the goats one by one, but they weren't getting anywhere. They couldn't stop the gap from spreading left and right. At that time, there was a round metal sound behind them. Kenan had finally finished cutting.
早く。
キリエさん、レディーファーストだ。南條先生も続いてる。
旦那様、ここは僕に任せてください。これは
Kenan's red sword that had cut the metal bars disappeared. Oh shit.
ごめん。バルギリア様の霊視線影響下に入った。私たちの魔力が中和されてる。
Huh.
よくも大魔女と呼ばれた私にここまで抗ったものです。もはやその地下道ではあなたたちの魔法は使えませんよ。
A magic circle column drew a complex magical formula of witchery at the center. With such genuine magic being used, Shannon's power couldn't even compete. On the contrary, it was surprising that she had withstood as long as she had.
霊視優勢を確保。さあ、シエスタ姉妹、今度こそあなたたちの出番ですよ。ってまだ再起動してるんですか？なんで最近の子は寝起きが悪いの？申し訳ありませんであります。私たち全員バージョンが違ってて。
God damn it.
なんでバージョン変わるたびにショートカットとプルダウンが湿気がめっちゃかになるに。
God damn it, Rabbit OS.
前回不正な終了がありました？管理者権限？何これわけわかんない。
It's either that or as soon as you update your fucking computer, it changes everything. Like, every time I update my fucking Windows PC, it always changes the volume on my mic. I have to set everything back to, like, oh, you have to use the Blue Yeti mic instead of this other shitty mic on my OBS and everything else. It always sucks, but anyway.
この得体トラブルシュートにコール。
Troubleshooting team.
ユーザーコードがないと教えない？
God damn it.
ユーザーコードは45が管理してるに。
9999にしか聞こえん。紙に書かせろ。
9 rooms, 9 people, 9, I can't remember the last 9 and 999, but whatever.
言語支援システム再起動できてないから文字も書けないに。
お前たちはゆっくり修理していなさい。私が行ってきます。
ごめんなさい。
The narrow underground passage was packed with goats, shrill like a commuter train in the morning. Virtually was a kid shot with concentration. Congratulations,
何をやってるん
whatever.
ですか？ご褒美が欲しいから一番乗りがしたい。他のヤギにご褒美を奪われたくないから邪魔をし合っている。このおバカヤギたちが私が行きますから道を開けなさい。何？嫌ですって？ワルギリア様がご褒美を奪うつもりだ。なんでスクラム組んでるんですか？きつい狭い。いつからここはヤギ専用車両に？今お尻触った子、次の駅で降りなさい。何あなた、こっちへ来いって。
The five across this group dash through the passageway with all their strength. Man, I feel like this episode has really demonstrated all the strengths of Ryokushio 7's writing. He can do serious shit, he can make emotional shit, he can make action, shonen, comedy. It's like, what the fuck? And it doesn't feel tonally out of place, you know? Like, it all feels the same. I don't feel any disconnect at all. It's insane. Anyway, the five had crossed this group dashed through the passageway with all their strength. They couldn't dawdle around in an underground place like this. They had to quickly join up with the children on the surface. If they could meet up there, there would no longer be any more sorrow. At that time, a terrible wumble started chasing them. And their pursuers finally made it through the metal bars, but they couldn't see anyone when they turned around. However, that wumble in the dirt that fell here and there from the ceiling grew closer and closer, finally catching up with them and even grew past them. It felt almost like being chased by ghosts. Oh shit. For a second they thought they'd gotten away until the ceiling in front of them fell in and a single goat stood in their path. Virgilia was sitting on its shoulder.
賢い子が近道を知っていました。偉い子ですね。一等賞ですよ。後で手作りのサバのカレー煮をご馳走してあげますよ。
Not cool, huh? Interesting. Maybe Willie was happy about that dubious prize. Massive Goat showed its joy by putting its hands together and waving. Oh god. Virgilia wept down, laughing that this time it was finally checkmate.
くそ、ダメだ。魔力が完全に殺されてる。
まだよ。魔法がなくても私たちにはまだこの体がある。
無茶だ。あんな化け物にあの不思議な力がなくて戦えるわけがない。
子供たちは下がっていたまえ。私が何とかするから、その隙にあの化け物の両脇を駆け抜けるんだ。
させませんよ。
Kraus whips off his shirt, his top half of his outfit. On the back is a tattoo of the one-winged eagle. Yakuza style. That'd be fucking awesome. When Virgilia clapped her hands, a purple magic circle wall appeared behind her, stealing even the faint hope that Kraus had been betting on.
ドンチ、キュースか。いや、まだだ。ジェシカも戦った。私が戦わんわけにはいかん。
Hell yeah.
本気なの？無理よ、あんな巨大な化け物に。
むちゃくちゃだ。クラウスさん、他の方法を考えましょ
う。思いついたら提案してくれたまえ。それまでは私が何とかするしかないようだ。さあ、下がりたまえ。
気をつけて。
おやおや、クラウス、あなた一人でこの子と戦うつもりですか？
わからんぞ。戦いにはまぐれあたりの一発だってあり得る。
まぐれでも勝てるつもりとお思いですか？
身の程知らずのあなたのために私が状況を整理して差し上げましょう。
何？
あなたが 100% の力を発揮したとしてあなたの戦闘力はせいぜい6。対してこの子の戦闘力は1000。つまりあなたが100人束になっても絶対に勝てないということです。
Okay, I guess we got one now.
まあ確かに戦いには不確定要素もあります。その戦闘力に多少の倍率がかかることも認めましょう。しかしそれでもあなたがこの子を倒せる確率は 0.00001% というところでしょうか。お分かりかしら。あなたには万に一つの勝ち目もないということです。
What's that countdown in the corner? We're too waiting to go Gothel together.
くそ。毎日ということは配当は1万倍ということではないか。いい大穴だ。そういう馬券は好きだよ。買いたくなる。
それを買うコインはあなたの命1枚しかありませんよ。しかしそれでもその奇跡に運命を託したいというあなたの気持ちよくわかります。ですので恐れずに立ち向かうあなたの勇気をたたえ一つハンデを差し上げましょう。
What the hell is that? What is that number for?
この子は左腕一本で戦います。まあそれでもあなたに負ける気は全くしませんが。
It just keeps going up.
それにしても何かしら、さっきからピンポンピンポンと。
I don't know.
よ、その勝負受けて立ってやる。左腕だろうとなんだろうと、どうせ私は一撃で殺されるだろう。私のチャンスもまた一撃しかないのだ。それに全てかけるしかあるまい。
むちゃくちゃだ、クラウスさん。あんたがボクシングをやってたことは知っているが、それでも大学時代のはず。いやいや、仮にプロのボクサーがいたとしても、あんな化け物一撃で倒せるはずもない。
Alright, someone sort out the One Punch Man OP.
リングの上での試合なら確かにね。でもクラウス兄さんが望みをかけるチャンスがわずかだけどあるわ。彼はそれに全て望みをかけている。
まさか。しかしそんなのもうまくいくわけがない。
旦那様、
見ていろ。一撃で決めてやる。
Fuck yeah, One Punch Kid Klaus. How shallow. I know what you're after. The distance between the two of them is more than 10 meters. If the goat and Klaus both step in with all their strength to settle this fight with a single blow, their power will be doubled what is normal. Both will crash together, so it's a relative 4 times normal. Even if, on top of that, the strike grants out a weak point for a critical hit that will only double its power again. In short, Klaus's maximum power level of 6 times 8 would be 48 at most. He might or might not be able to win if he repeated that lucky shot a full 20 times. If you're killed every time you take a hit and your damage still accumulates, let's see, perhaps you might finally win when we get to episode 24, yes? If only the series could stretch on so long. Well, we're already on episode like 34, I think. Either way, you don't even have a slight chance of victory. Hey, seriously, what is that bing bong sound?
私も一撃に全てをかけさせていただく。ヤギ君も遠慮することはない。本気で来たま
え。全力を要望ですよ。本気の一撃で粉砕し、肉片に変えてやりなさいね。
As the goat got excited and beat its chest over and over, it took a position as though preparing for a sprint. Is this what you wanted? Bet your hopes some of the greatest limits of your power were level and despair when even that gets you nowhere. It rang again! What the heck? So I'm starting to get on my nerves.
行くぞ。いいかね。
The goat howled in response. Then, with a matched timing that only the men confronting each other could comprehend, the two leapt forward like bullets shot out of a gun. The men howled, correcting their strength from over their bodies into one arm each. The goat's fiery, glowing eyes locked onto Cross's face. He could perfectly see a vision of when he would step forwards, when he would punch through Kraus and blow him away, and when he would win perfectly. The long, painful days up to that point drifted through the goat's mind. Those painful days of training when his senpais had picked on him. Those faint glimpses of the warm concern his senpais felt for him. The joy of that day, his power and big knowledge when he had been accepted as one of his comrades. I never showed proper respect to my parents. That's right. Did I plan to wash my hands off this business when this job was over and return to my hometown? Sorry, little goat sister. Your only Chen will always cause you so much trouble. And I actually have a childhood home. I'm going to marry her when I get home. I get it now. I get it. The counter was the counter was death flags. That's what it was. It was just counting. It was just the amount of times death flags, because it was so obvious you would die. The whole power level thing. Oh my god, just like in every other fucking anime. When you know an enemy's going to get their ass kicked if they start spouting about power levels and start thinking about their whole childhood home and how they're going to go back to it. Oh my god. It happened the instant before the two crashed and their punches crossed.
愚かね、ワルギリア。冷静な判断を欠いたようよ。そのパンチを受けてはなりません。弾きなさい。
Oh! The very instant the goat's left straight across his right straight crossed. The goat obeyed Vildria's order of super fast reflexes, bolted straight back, repelling Cross's punch. Oh shit. That's right, Vittoria's decision probably had been wise. After all, the number of loser flags amplifies the power level of one's opponent. Loser flags.
危ないところでした。こんな負けフラグ立てまくりの状態で食らっていたら、どれほどの威力に倍率がかかっていたことか。
Loser flags. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh my god. It's so perfect because how many fucking shonen stories, like just action stories in general, of like, oh, I'm the big tough guy or whatever, like you are weak and whatever, loser flags.
そこでガラ空きの右側面に右ストレートを叩き込んでやりなさい。
God, someone commented last episode about how episode 4 is so great. It expands the world, it expands the characters. It really shows a lot, but it also has the funniest moments, and I think that's the funniest fucking moment. Like, god damn, that was so fucking funny.
何？左腕一本で戦う約束？約束は破るためにあるのでしょうが！失望よ、ワルギリア。あなたはやはり冷静を欠いていたわ。なんですって。直前に気づいて避けさせた私のどこが冷静でないと。
どうしてですか、キリエ様。あのまま激突していたら旦那様の勝ちだったのでは。
そうか。負けフラグの数が20でもまだ足りないんだ。
Grouse is in the goat's double rush made for 4 times 4. Where Miracle as an ally, the firm promise of a critical hit doubled it again for times 8. On top of that, there was the amplification of times 20 equal to the number of loser flags, making it for times 160. At a glance, this was a critical amplification, but even so, Cross's power level was 6. Even multiplied by 160, it only made for a power level of 960. Just below the goat's 1,000.
だから冷静じゃないと言ったのよ。あなた失敗したわ。 そのまま激突していればあなたの勝ちだった。
Oh shit.
たとえそうだったとしても、この右ストレートでクラウスの頭を砕けば同じこと。死ね後ろ宮クラウス。
食らいたまえ、ボクシング界最強の一撃を。
After repelling Cross's right straight, the goat's right straight attacked the right side of Cross's fate, which had been left open. But there across Cross's left straight. The two punches crossed and time stopped as each aimed for the face of the other.
まさかこのタイミングで相打ちに持ってくるとは。しかし戦闘力は160倍止まりで960。うちの子の1000には及びませんでしたよ。
いや、ワルギリアさん、あんたの負けだ。
どうして？
あんた最初のクロスカウンターを弾かせちまった。確かにその次に繰り出した右ストレートが当たればクラウスさんは粉々にされていただろう。しかしそいつをクロスされてしまった。こりゃダメだ。悪いがあんたんとこのヤギさんの乾杯だよ。
A cross counter has 4 times the destructive power of a normal punch. This is common knowledge in the boxing world. And if it's blocked in the right straight hits, then it's a double cross counter with 8 times the destructive power. This is also common knowledge in the boxing world. And if that is crossed, then by the principle of leverage, the triple cross will multiply destructive power by 12. This is also painfully common knowledge in the boxing world.
クラウスさんの戦闘力は6。
双方2倍の踏み込みで4倍。
Man, this is like a fucking Baki moment.
クリティカルヒットで8倍。
負けフラグの立てすぎで160倍。
そしてトリプルクロスカウンターでさらに12倍。
Which makes this goat a fucking jobber.
1920。
His power level was a 1,152. Cross's punch now had the power to easily win the first Tenkaichi Budokai. I need to watch Dragon Ball.
これは勝利を最後まで諦めなかったクラウスさんの執念とあんたの慢心が招いた結果だ。どちらが欠けてもこの威力にはならなかった。あんたよく戦ったよ。もう倒れてもいいんだぞ。
Nanjo clapped the goat on his shoulder. Your Oni-chan gave it his all. As the sparkling drops from the goat's eyes scattered, he bent backwards and fell on Virginia. The goat's massive body was too heavy for the slender Virginia. She wiggled around with it on top of her, but it didn't look like she'd be able to escape. In that instant, the barrier of Virginia had sealed book.
悪く思うな。
How the fuck does this visual novel exist? I'm just asking. How does this? How can something like this actually exist and be fan-fucking-tastic? How, motherfucker? How?
テコの原理を侮ったのが君の敗因だ。
How is a story like this, with complex-ass characters, with gray morality, with just interesting mystery, and silly shit like this, and shonen-like action? How the fuck can it exist?
どうしてあのカウンターでテコの原理が働くのかしらね。
Like how? How? This is a perfect story. This is a perfect story. I don't know what to say to you. Like, man, I've watched Breaking Bad, and I love that show. It's a fantastic show. I've also seen Better Call Saul. Fantastic fucking show. Both have fantastic characters, very complex ass characters, and all of that. And when they cry, has as complex characters as Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. 100%. I can say that on my life. It's still somehow to be so fucking silly, so shonen-like, so... and filled with a fucking intriguing mystery that I can't wrap my fucking brain around? Oh my god.
永遠の謎だわ。
今のうちに逃げましょう。ヤギさんもお大事に。
それでは失礼します、バルギリア様。
ペコリ。
待って待ちなさい、これどけてガブガブガブガブガブガブ
And still managing to keep its tone. How? How can this exist? God damn it, how? After that, there was nothing to block their way. They ran intently through the underground passage. Oh my god. Jessica had finally been cornered with the wall at her back. Leonov advanced with his magic circle wall bit by bit and would probably crush her against the other wall eventually. Considering the distance, she threw out her fist. This would be her final strike. Jessica had dealt out many punches so far. The wall wasn't invisible. It had already started to crack, and wouldn't be strange for it to smash at any moment. However, due to the rebounding damage, Jessica also had cuts all over her body and was all worn out.
もうよしなさい。あなたを押しつぶすつもりはありません。あなたの処遇は親方様が決めますからね。しかし、ジェシカ様のナイスファイトは私からも特に申し上げるつもりですよ。
Dude, I think fucking Kenzo is just eating his fucking popcorn and drinking his weird-ass green... Yeah, I saw a piece of art of the green beverage that, you know, it's always mentioned in Umineko. It's actually just Mountain Dew. And I saw this one art post of, like, Kenji, please give me my demon concoction. Yes, sire. And it's just him pouring Mountain Dew into a wine glass. Just, I find it so fucking funny.
ふざけるんじゃねえぜ。まだだ、まだ終わっちゃいねえぜ。
あなたは満身創痍。立っているのもやっとではありませんか。あなたは最後の一撃に全ての力を込めるつもりでいるようだ。しかし、その最後の一撃はむしろあなたにとって命取りになりますよ。
The damage reflected by Wonov's magic circle wall was proportional to the strength of the attack. Jessica's all-out punch would be bounced back onto her. The more all-out she went, the more suicidal it would be for Jessica.
わかってるぜ。そんなことはよ。
警告します。もうおやめなさい。それがあなたのためです。
強がるなよ。お前の壁がもう破れかかってるんだろ。
Oh shit.
殴ってきた私には手応えで分かってるんだぜ。
That was a fact. Wonov's wall was already on the verge of breaking. And on top of that, Jessica's fists had been imbued with an unimaginable magical power, attack power by now, and their destructive strength defied the imagination. In the worst case, that destructive power might even pierce the defensive wall, smash Wonov as well, and create an expansion connecting this room to the next. However, that damage would rebound on Jessica as well. She wouldn't escape unharmed.
もう一度だけ言います。おやめなさい。あなたのためを思って言っています。
やかましいぜ。覚悟しやがれ。
Jessica howled. Putting all of the strength of her greatest and final destructive power into her fist, she roared. Pop goes the circle. The three goats had been beaten down long ago. Without straining to breathe in the slightest, George cautiously closed the distance between him and Gap. He was after her. He was planning to bring her down with a single strike. Gap was also aiming for a single strike. If she let that chance slide, she would be killed this time.
落とし穴は使わないのかい?
Even the tiny opening during the time it took to open the hole would prove fatal with George as an opponent right now. Gap cautiously calculated the distance and timing, but even as she did, George closed the gap between them.
来ないなら行くよ。
来なさいよ。今さら小細工も何もないわ。私のこの蹴りで決着をつけてやる。
For an instant, she thought George's body bored, and then only his jacket was floating in there. The moment she fought, darkness covered Gap. George, with his heel swung up high, was attacking from the sky like a massive dragon.
かかったわね。これで私の勝ちよ。後ろ宮ジョージ。
何?
Gap opened a vast pitfall with her in the center, swallowing up George along with herself. The two were swallowed up by the pitfall and spat out from the ceiling of their armor. But that was what Gap had been after, so she alone wedded widely. However, there was another pitfall in George's landing spot. Oh shit. Fuck.
あんたみたいな上等。後ろ宮家の当主なんてもったいないわ。今この場で私が食ってあげる。
George once again fell from the ceiling of their armor. He had probably been dropped the same distance as falling off the roof of a two-story building. In the sky, he couldn't control his posture in any way. It was impossible to resist or defend or avoid. As Gap spun like a whirlwind, she concentrated all of her energy on the sharp tip of her stiletto heel. This was the final strike to perform his requiem. The final strike of the Queen Bee that would bore into heaven, knocking him down into the true abyss.
ようこそ奈落へ。ここがあんたの終着点よ。
She closed in on her prey and stuck her foot up into the sky. At that time, she saw George's face. Even though he was mid-air, he was calmly adjusting his glasses with the middle finger of his right hand. And his posture was still preserved as that of an axe kick. Without the faintest deviation, he aimed for Gap's forehead.
君がその手に出ることは想定済みだったよ。僕が地上の君に飛びかかとを食らわせるために飛んでいたなら、僕の姿勢はとっくに崩れていただろうさ。しかし僕の姿勢はいささかも崩れない。なぜかわかるかい？僕は初めから数フロア下の君にかかとを食らわせるつもりで飛んでいる。
Damn. The fuck? Jessica's acid shrug his upwards punch reached the wall and was sucked in. It was sucked into a black large hole that had suddenly opened on the wall. Oh shit! Oh fuck. You
実は
cheap bastards.
全然ピンチでもなんでもなかったの。ごめんなさいね。
God damn it. Jessica's fists had gone for George's stomach. and George's axe kick had wind up on Jessica's head. The shocking destructive power imbued in Jessica's fist crushed George's organs and scattered his abdomen. The same destructive power in George's axe kick smashed half of Jessica's head and scattered its contents in the same manner. You cheap bitch.
だって魔女は演技力なんでしょ。ねえねえリーチェどうよ見ててくれたかしら。やるな筋書き通り。やっぱガープは分かってるじゃん。イエーイ
Peter and Gap casually high-fiving each other. Yeah. 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 Yeah, god damn it, I fell for it fucking again!
ありがとうロノウェイ
God damn it!
こっちで美味しくいただけた。ジェシカの死体はそっちに返すわ。
Son of a fucking bitch. God, they can't keep getting away with this!
二人で寄り添う死体を引き離す。
Oh, motherfucker.
これで第二の番は
Oh, God. Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Fucking fuck! Gap dropped Jessica's corpse through a pitfall, and all the chunks were thrown into Jessica's room. His curious way of throwing something into the trash. Jessica's corpse and lumps of flesh fell from the ceiling and poured out all over her room. Waldo shook his head slightly at this gruesome change of scenery.
申し訳ございませんが、ジェシカさん。ご忠告は申し上げたのです。もっとも、この結末を予見し、聞き入れないと分かっている忠告を重ねる悪魔の醍醐味は、人間には分からないでしょうがね。
God damn it.
本当に面白かったわ坊や。でもあんたちょっと言葉遊びが過ぎるわよ。そろそろ反撃してもいいかなが最高傑作。あなたどこからラノベか何かにかぶれする
Light novel. Fuck you. Fuck you. In the arbor, brutally decorated by George's and Jessica's scattered blood and guts. Gab enjoyed a loud laugh for a while, but she quickly realized that, in all seriousness, this was a little too filthy and undignified, and she snapped her fingers. They keep fucking getting me. They keep getting me. God damn it, I keep saying it won't get me again, but they do it again! God damn it! They pull me in, and they fucking shoot me in the head! God damn it! God damn it, man. You fucker, Ryukyushi, you son of a bitch! As she did, a cloud of gold butterflies rose up around her, stuck to each of the bits and bloodstains, and dropped them. And then George's corpse returned bit by bit, and the brutal corpse with its guts torn out was repaired into a clean corpse that looked like it was sleeping. Was this an act of sportsmanship towards a dead rival? Devons was split, because Gap had lifted her leg high, pointing at the sky.
じゃあね、色とか。これが本当のゲーム。
Splat. Without a trace of mercy, that foot stepped down and was buried into George's forehead. The stiletto heel that was sharp as a weapon pierced George's forehead. With a boop, it was pulled out. It was like a mark proving that Gap simply had finished him by her own hand. Mono also returned Jessica's corpse to its original form, and unlike how it had been with George, he restored Jessica's wife.
いいえ、違います。ジェシカ様は確かにお亡くなりになりました。最後の瞬間の記憶をよくご存知のはずだ。
Jeez. Jessica's mind was burning. For some reason, she remembered being thrown somewhere and having George's heel smashed her head.
いいえ、死んでいます。私の魔法でほんの3分ほどそれを先送りにしているに過ぎません。
3 minutes.
3分が過ぎれば魔法が終わり、あなたは無残な頭部半壊の死体に戻ります。
だと
死は残酷です。多くの場合、心の整理さえ与えない。しかし私はここまで検討したあなたをたたえ、その時間を与えることにしました。その3分間でこの世の未練をよく整理されるといいでしょう。
その3分でお前を道連れにするという手もあるぜ。
But the power that burned through Jessica's body until a second ago had been completely lost. Jessica was aware of that herself. She was already dead.
それでは私はこれにて失礼いたします。楽しかったですよ、ジェシカさん。
Roanoke turned his form into a cloud of gold butterflies and disappeared. All that remained was the sound of the wind and rain and the figure of Jessica as she crouched down, leaning against the wall. Jessica could tell. She probably really would revert to the corpse she had been after 53 minutes. Was there anything she could do in those 3 minutes? She stood up and with a shaky gulp took the phone that was on the desk. That door.
もしもし、ジェシカか。ジェシカ、どうした？無事か？
やられしまったぜ。
大丈夫か？怪我をしてるのか？今助けに行く。
いや、もう遅いぜ。私さ、もう死んでるんだと。バトラーが来た時には私は頭を半分ぶちまけた死体だよ。
クソじじいめ、待てろ、今そこに行くからな。
聞けよバトラー。いいか、よく聞け。幸田さんたちがどうして食堂で9人が殺された時のこと、歯切れが悪いのがよく分かった。あいつらな、人間じゃねえんだぜ。
何を言ってんだ。
見ちまったんだ。仕方ねえだろ。あいつらさ、ワープしたりバリア張ったり やりたい放題だぜ。どこの漫画だよ、アニメだよ。いや、マジでかなわねえぜ。最初からさ、戦うとか無理なんだよ。バトラが自慢してた棒仕掛けのやり程度でとてもどうにかなる相手じゃねえぜ。
A line of blood dripped down from Jessica's forehead.
ジョージ兄さんもダメだった。ありゃ、即死だ。次のテストはバトラだな。お前のテストも私たちと同じになるのかな。用心しろよ。そして間違えるな。
テストか？
違う。敵はどうせ人間だと間違えるなよ。敵は人間じゃない。恐ろしい魔法を自在に扱える悪魔なんだ。そこを絶対に間違えるんじゃねえぜ。用心しろよ。
A line of blood dripped down from Jessica's mouth as well. The left half of her head started hurting. Jessica realized that she was about to return to the corpse she had been.
13人死ねば黄金の魔女が蘇る。母さんたちが殺されて6人。これで第一の番。そして私とジョージ兄さんが死んで第2の番。あと5人殺されれば儀式は完成で魔女が蘇るってわけだ。父さんたち無事だといいな。もし無事じゃなかったらお前をテストするのは復活したてのベアトリーチェ自身ってことになるかもしれねえぜ。
Badwar already didn't understand what Jessica was saying, but from her tone, he realized that she knew she was about to die. So even though he didn't understand the situation, he urged her to give it her all.
私はもう死んでるんだって。じゃあな、もう時間みたいだ。テスト頑張れよ。お前が当主になれるといいな。
ジェシカ、ジェシカ、おい、返事をしろ。ジェシカ
Badwar's so sorrowful voice could be heard from the dangling receiver. As she leaned against the wall in that corridor, crouched down, Jessica's head had been half smashed.
ここは
これは井戸なのか。ここはどこなんだ。
Kyrie stuck her face out of the well, and then Klaus showed himself too. When they realized that they could see the back of the mansion from beyond a grove of trees, Klaus knew more or less where they were. To think that here, in a certain well, there had been a hidden underground passage, which led to a hidden mansion.
老体にはやはりこれは辛いですな。
Ah, so it was in a well. Interesting.
普段は別の場所からちゃんと階段で上がれるのです。鍵さえ開けば。
南條先生には後でいろいろとここの構造についてお教え願いたいものだ。シャノン、大丈夫かね。捕まりたまえ。
大丈夫です。カノン君、早く。
Cannon climbed up a ladder out of the shaft that was disguised as a well. It was probably quite deep. When he looked down for the first time, he realized how far he'd come up.
にひ、射撃。
Fuck. Bang. Fuck. As Cannon was about to finally crawl out of the well, a hole the size of a basketball opened up in his chest. Everyone there walked through the hole in Cannon's chest to the scenery beyond. Cannon slumped backwards and was swallowed up into the depths of the well.
みんな逃げて。シエスタ姉妹捕捉されてます。回避できない。
Oh.
走って。一人でも生き残って。
At that time, Klaus and Kyrie and Nanjo suddenly saw a golden curved line appear from the well and shoot itself to the side of Shannon's head.
Shannon!
Her head had been pierced. The Free had witnessed it perfectly until it had shot out the opposite side, blowing it away. Shannon fell to her knees, blood gushing from both sides of her head, and flopped to the ground.
私たちは狙われてる。走って。殺されるわよ。
走れ、走れ、走れ、走れ。
Fuck. As Nanjo doubled over in shock, stunned by how Shannon died, the Chisar sisters did not allow him to escape. Not Nanjo! A curved line again peered from the well and pierced from Nanjo's forehead to the back of his head in an instant, sewing through him. Bump. And so Nanjo passed away.
何なんだ。どうしてなんだ。敵はどこから。
God damn it.
狙撃されてるのよ。どこか知らないけど、私たちを完全に捉えてる。屋敷へ逃げ込むのよ。視界を遮るのよ。
This game gives me hope. It gives me hope, and it fucking crushes it. Damn it! It crushes it. It slashes it. It fucking shoots through it. God damn it! The two dashed towards the back door of the mansion. Then, right as Klaus was about to shut the door behind him, a golden curved line appeared for the fourth time, piercing Klaus from the back of his head to his forehead and smashing that forehead. Christ. Klaus's body leaned over, fell down, and drew a neat radical pattern with the insides of his head. Kyrie ran wildly through the hallway, flew into some room, and locked the door. But even so, she wasn't even remotely convinced that this had saved her life. She would probably die soon. This was apparently one of the guest rooms. At that moment, Kyrie's eyes fell on the full throne on the side table. For Bador. After hanging up the call from Jessica, Bador had been about to dash out. And then sent the phone ring again.
もしもし。キリエさん。
はい、バトラ君。ラッキーだったわ。なんとか力を脱出できたの。本当についてた。
そこはどこだ。みんな無事なのかよ。こっちはジェシカとジョージの兄貴がどうやら。
聞いて。私の命は多分もう長くは持たないわ。
At that time, right after she fought the keyhole of the watchtower, might have a gold curved line drawing a helix. No, a golden sewing thread penetrated in from there at incredible speed and bored a hole in the floor by Kyrie's feet. Oh, that's unusual. The enemy who sent the other four one after another with extraordinary skill apparently really does have trouble shooting me between the eyes with a single shot while I'm holed up in this room. But the next strike will probably hit. At this point, Kyrie finally remembered the first massive killing in the dining hall. That's right. This is what killed Rudolph and the rest. All 6 of them.
聞いてバトラ君、私が見たことをありのまま話す。バトラ君はきっと私の頭がどうにかなってしまったんだろうと思うに違いない。ええ、思ってくれていいわ。私だって何を見たのか未だに整理がつかない。今日バトラ君たちがゲストハウスに帰ってから食堂で親族会議が始まって、そして何が起こったかを全て話すわ。口を挟まないで最後まで聞いて。途中で急に電話が切れるかもしれない。そしたらその時は私が殺された時よ。
Then Kyrie spoke about Kinzo appearing and the family conference starting, about the six being killed and the 5 of them being confined, about how she had escaped somehow and run away to where she was now, and how everyone had been finally killed. It was all spoken dispassionately, with no dramatization, just as she'd seen it. She even spoke about how everyone except her had been killed, and how she had observed the moments of all their deaths. And now, even now, someone was trying to kill her.
実はこの話をしている間にももう3度攻撃を受けている。鍵穴からおかしな黄金の糸みたいなのが飛び込んできて、くるくる回りながら私を狙ってくるの。最初は足元、次は肩の近く、さっきのは耳をかすったわ。狙いがだんだん正確になってくる。そろそろ私の眉間にズドンと来そうね。
逃げろ、キリエさん。逃げてくれ。
どこへよ。私ここまで逃げ延びてきて部屋に閉じこもって鍵までかけてるのよ。それでもなお狙われてる私がどこに隠れるのよ。ねえ。ねえバトラ君、ジェシカちゃんとジョージ君まだ生きてる？
さっきジェシカから電話が。なんかダメみたいだった。
やっぱり私たち5人が次々殺される時、何か予感していたの。ひょっとして13人殺しの儀式は第2の番を終えて私たちの番にまで至ったのかなって。つまり私が死ねば13人。これで儀式は完成。黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェが復活する。一体どういうことになるのかしら。こんな悪魔だらけの魔女だらけ、ヤギの化け物がうじゃうじゃいるこの島に、さらにそいつらの親玉である黄金の魔女まで現れて、一体どうなっちゃうというのかしら。私には何が何だかわからない。
Yeah. Kirei-san's voice had completely given up on her own wife, because Bedouin understood that he couldn't stop the tears.
一つだけ助言できることがあったわ。
何？
もしあなたの前に悪魔やら魔女が現れても、その正体を疑う必要は何もないわ。そういうものだと理解して。何か仕掛けがあるはずだとか、正体があるはずだとか、そんなことを考える余裕があったら、相手の機嫌を損ねないことを考えた方がよっぽどに建設的。間違ってもなら魔法を見せてみろなんて言っちゃダメよ。 証拠を彼らはこの上なく残酷な方法で見せるでしょうから。
信じらんねえよ。キネさんの口からそんなこと言われるなんて信じらんねえよ。
分かってる。信じられないのは。だからそれこそが私にできる助言。信じて。
ペアとイーチェと悪魔と魔女と化け物どもを信じろと。
To believe in it.
私たちは多分あれほどまでにこの世ならざるものをありありと見せつけられても多分何も信じることができなかったと思う。今の私もそう。さっきから襲ってきて私と額を撃ち抜こうとする者の正体さえ私には理解できず信じられない。だからあなただけは信じ理解して私たちに受け止めきれなかった存在を受け止めてほしいの。
Of what we couldn't accept.
そうしてくれたなら私たちの死は無駄にならない。私もこうして電話をした甲斐があったというものだわ。
キリさん
まだ大丈夫よ。かすったけどまた外した。さすがに今度はもうダメかもね。ありがとう。そしてさよならバトラ君。あなたのことアスムさんの息子だからと冷たくしたこともあった。その日のことを許して。
許すも何も今はキリエさんが俺にとっての母親だろうが。
I felt as though I'd heard an incredible sound at the other end of the receiver. Then a noisy quackling sound, as though the receiver had fallen to the floor.
キリエさんキリエさん
Curious never answered through the phone again.
どうしてバトラが怒ってるのかわかんないよ。
Wow. What a fucking episode, huh? So many ups and so many downs. Yet in the end, dashed through it all once more. Took it all away once again. Kyrie wants Baldur to believe, because they couldn't. But if we believe them, if we truly believe in magic, then what would be the point? How would that change any of this? If we see it as magic, then how can we fight it back against it? To believe something that we couldn't. Fuck, man. Next episode's probably going to be the end of episode 4. Probably. Maybe. Who knows? But goddamn, man. God damn it. I knew, I had this little voice in the back of my head of like, it's going way too well. It's episode 4. Come on, Void, think rationally, damn it! But I didn't! I didn't want to. I wanted to fucking believe it. I wanted to believe it, damn it. Well, anyway, if you guys enjoy this type of content, hit that subscribe button. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you want to tell me something, put it down in the comments below. Check out Discord server I'm in, or my Twitter. Check description below. And yeah, this has been Voidlego. I'll see you guys next time. See ya!